was before, or Riley Green's at bat, first and second, 2 outs, and he said, well, there's 2 ways to play it here defensively. You can guard the lines to keep them from hitting a double because with 2 outs, that run at first is going to score on a ball hit down the line, and say it's going to take multiple hits for Urseg to give up singles for you to lose this game. Or you can just play it straight up and say you don't want to give up a hit at all. As he said that, I don't know what you were thinking, Jack, Sterling, whoever. It's not second guessing, because as he said that, I go, well, clearly you guard the line.
Correct.
Because because at that point you're saying, well, then it will take multiple hits against Urseg to beat you. And your number 5 hitter is up. It's not like it's a number 2, 3, 4 up. And you're like, you know what? We just need 1 out. I don't care what it is. We're going to play regular, because if he hits a single, the other guy can hit a double. We aren't getting these guys out. It's the 27 Yankees. Let's find a way to get it out any way, shape, or form. When he said that, you got a decision to make here. I'm like, well, you guard the lines because it's 2 outs. With 1 out, maybe different, because you're not immediately running on contact to the point to where now at first base you are on a ground ball, but still to the point to where you're almost getting a head start there to a degree. Because it was it 3-2?
It was 3-2.
It was 3-2. 3-2, 2 outs. So you're running. You're stealing. On the pitch, you're already running. So even when it got to 3-2, at that point, you know for a fact a double down the line he's scoring. So, Jack, I'm wondering from your perspective, you watched a lot of baseball. Sterling, you've watched a lot of baseball. We've all watched it, played it, different levels. Hosmer brings that up. They hit the double, and Ryan says, well, you just mentioned it. You just brought it up of guarding the line. It was about a half foot away from Vinny getting the ball. If he's guarding the line, it's a ground ball to Vinny. Toss it to Urseg. The game is over. The shift cost him a double play, but that's okay. The shift happens on the line drive to Jonathan India. Jack, play the line, no doubles defense, play it straight up and get an out from Riley Green. Whichever one didn't work was the wrong option, but it wasn't second-guessing for me. If he would have hit a single through the right side and Vinny wasn't there, and the next guy comes up and hits a single and they lose, I would have said, you know what? I'd have played the no doubles defense. Urseg gave up back-to-back hits. What did you think, Jack?
I thought it was a foregone conclusion. In that situation, that scenario, you are always in no doubles defense. If the game is tied, you play straight up. If you go into the 9th inning and you're up 1 run, it's no doubles defense. And then when that game becomes tied, and now if you've got a runner in scoring position, you don't play the line. You play straight up because a base hit's going to win it. I was flabbergasted to see when that ball was hit. I wasn't sure it was going to be an out or it was going to be a hit until the camera panned out a little bit, but I was shocked at how far off the line Vinny Pasquantino was playing. Yeah. Even in that moment of 3-2, like that would be another signal of you got to play the line, because anything that is not directly at Caglione in right field is going to score both runs there. I don't know if that's on Matt Quatrero. I don't know if that's on Vance Wilson, because you'll see Vance Wilson basically coordinate the outfit. I saw people saying, well, then it's Q's fault for not telling Vance Wilson. Vance Wilson's paid money to do that job. Yeah. Or if it's Vinny not playing as close as he should have been.
It's like saying Andy Reid's job is for Spags not to blitz on 3rd and 17. Yes. And, well, Andy's the head coach. Well, if somebody's in charge of positioning defensively, that person's in charge of positioning defensively.
Yeah, and look, we're going to look at that moment and say that's why they lost the game. Lucas Ursig also had multiple opportunities in that inning to put somebody away. Tried to quick pitch Gleyber Torres, and he was ready for it. And I don't know why you throw a fastball at that location 0-2, but clearly they've got their idea of what they want to do. But back to the defensive positioning. I mean, to me, that's an obvious one. If you're up by 2 runs there, the only way the game is tied is if you hit a double or you gap one or they win the game with a home run. A single to right field, even with runners going, is only going to get Kevin McGonigal to third base. Yep. He's not going to be scoring on a single to right field or a single to left field.
And I'll point out, Riley Green has traditionally been a very pull-heavy hitter. This year, I wonder if they just looked at it and said, hey, this year he's actually not pulling the ball hardly at all. It's been a lot more up the middle. So based on what we've seen this year from Riley Green and a smaller sample size, do we do that? But again, I think the point still remains. It's not Luis Ariz up there. Riley Green hits the ball really hard. I think it's no doubles defense every single time in that moment. But I do think Lucas Erceg deserves, I think, the lion's share of the blame,
100%,
obviously.
100%.
I do have some concerns
Excuse
now.
me, lion's share, 80%.
Yeah.
Sorry. 100% of the blame as we're talking about strategy that goes along with baseball.
But you looked at 24, and you looked at the strikeout numbers, and they were elite. I mean, he was really good. He got a lot of swing and miss. Last year, the ERA was great, but I think we all saw a little bit of, okay, this doesn't feel the same. He's not dominating. He's getting away with it, and he's getting out of it. But he had 48 strikeouts in 61 and a third inning while throwing 98-mile-an-hour fastballs. Like, that's just, it seems wrong. That seems like Carlos Hernandez, right? When you're like, oh, my gosh, he throws so hard, but no one is swinging and missing. And then this year, 5 strikeouts and 7 and a third, so we have a very small sample size. Yeah. Very small sample size. But his chase percentage is 7th percentile. Oh. His whiff percentage is 3rd percentile. Oh. And that, to me, is where the alarm bells, if they're not ringing hard, they're at least chirping in the background of like, is that an alarm bell? Because he's getting no swing and miss.
Can you look and see what it was in those two categories, 24, 25, and then current this year?
24, his chase percentage was 84th percentile. His whiff percentage was 86th percentile.
What was it last year?
Last year in 25, his chase percentage was 63rd percentile. His whiff percentage was 47th percentile.
And this year, 7th and 3rd?
This year it is 7th and 3rd.
Okay. 84, 63, 7, 86, 47, 3. Obviously, it's a much smaller sample size this year. But doesn't it feel like when he came over from the A's, it wasn't just the stuff that he had. Like, his command was really good. Like, he was painting. And then last year, it's like, he doesn't really have the command that he had last year. It happens. He'll get it back. The back of the baseball card says that he's going to be a guy with great stuff that has high leverage back into the bullpen ability. And this year, the command being off, he's trying to spot pitches and he's missing. And the 2 hard hits, the double and then the single to win, were both changeups left out right over the middle. Just middle changeup to Riley Green that he smokes down the line. Middle changeup for the winning hit that ends the game. And Jack did what he could do, and the hit wasn't right to him to allow him to, make the throw home. He already had that freaking rocket, that laser. Like, good God, man. Jack is doing everything right now for the Royals except hitting home runs. Like, if the Royals were better, I think he'd be one of the stories of the early season. Is I love being wrong in a good way about positions. I was obviously wrong, and I'll continue to talk about being wrong about Bobby Witt and saying put him at third, call it a day, when he was one of the worst shortstops in all of the worst shortstop defensively in all of baseball.
Sure.
So credit to him for making me look stupid in saying put him at third, put Michael at short, call it a day, okay? And now Bobby's the best defensive shortstop in baseball, and Michael's got a gold glove over at third. I also told them to burn Jack Caglione's outfield glove, because just put him at first, because I don't need somebody that's 270 lumbering around in the outfield and making a false step and messing up some cartilage in his knee, or hitting his foot on the concrete like Aaron Judge and breaking a toe out there. I don't need that big guy running. I know he's athletic, but I don't need him out there running. Put Vinny at DH, put Cags at first base. You drafted him for his bat. Let him go and hit and leave him alone and not affect the bat by having him learn a new position. But he's been a good right fielder, not just, he's fine. He's been good, and that arm is an absolute weapon that will keep teams from moving an extra 90 feet.
His range.
So I was wrong about that, and he's looked good, and he's been doing everything, Sterling, except hitting home runs, which is what you thought you were going to get. I think that will come. He's got too much power to not hit the ball over the fence. If he's doing all of these other things through 18, 19 games, tells me a lot about what I think is going to happen over the final, 140 or so.
Yeah, so his range. Remember when MJ Melendez went from like 1 percentile to like 40, and we're like, look at him. You know what? We can talk about his bat, but at least he's improved.
The 1 was when they moved him to outfield in the middle of the season for catcher. The 40 was when he had an offseason of learning the outfield.
And Cags, so far, again, smaller sample size. We are 19 games in. His range is 72nd percentile, which is good.
What's his arm?
96th percentile.
I would guess, yeah.
So
because that's the average of what he throws.
that's not, but it's not just miles per hour because
I know I'm being a smartass.
But again, you're right. Kaggs has turned into, again, small sample size, not just a serviceable outfielder, a good outfielder. And here's where I have some optimism, where the bat will lead to more extra base hits and home runs. His average exit velocity is 94.5. That's 96th percentile. That's elite. His bat speed, his hard hit percentage are all in the 93 percentile plus. He hits the ball extremely hard. The issue is his ground ball rate is 6% higher than league 5% higher than league average right now.
Pull fly ball.
He's not hitting fly balls.
He should be pulling and hitting fly balls. And I know people are like, work the whole field. Okay, well, look at the numbers for pulled fly balls in baseball. The slugging percentage is like 2. It's 2 point something on fly balls that are pulled in Major League Baseball. So it's like, oh, use the whole field. No, play to your strength. That's fine. Maybe Jack's strength is the entire field, but he's going to have a 19-game stretch where he doesn't hit a home run in his career. He'll have another 19-game stretch where he doesn't hit a home run, and so maybe this is just that, and then that loft will start getting there.
Yeah, you're hoping if you are to take at least one thing out of yesterday, as awful as that was to watch, and I'm trying not to be over dramatic and say that's one of the worst Royals losses I've seen in quite some time, but really considering 2 umpire delays, 2 rain delays, you storm back down 5 and you lose the game that way, it really stings. But the only way you can turn this into a positive is, well, if that was the spark for the offense, right? Now they can go to the plate with runners in scoring position a little bit more free and easy instead of being so puckered up every time they're in that spot, because Salvador Perez came through. Vinny Pasquantino got the home run. Speaking of Jack, there was one at bat in that series that has really showed how far he's come in the maturity and being so calm and poised at the plate. It was actually game 2 when Kenley Jansen was in there. He's up there, 2 outs. He challenges a pitch that looked low, but it was like a centimeter into the zone. And crowd gets loud. They're on their feet. And he just kind of gave like a simple head nod and didn't look like a deer in headlights of, oh, no, I challenged wrong. I don't really know where this is going. Yeah. And Jansen threw him a 97-mile-an-hour cutter that was a backdoor cutter, and he laced it into left field. And you're seeing more of that. I want to see more home runs. Yeah. But if there is that turning point of what you're starting to see, what needed to happen for the offense if you ever wanted to move Salvi down in the order, you needed to move Vinny down the order. It's that Carter and Jack need to be holding their own. Yep. They need to be hitting for power. They need to be hitting for average. They need to be getting on base. And slowly but surely that's turning around. It's been a really awful 19 games. I don't think anybody can dispute that. When the offense has rarely picked up the pitching staff lets them down. And then for the other 16 games, the pitching staff's been phenomenal and the offense can't score any runs. Last year, they got to 7-16. So I've been asked before, if they get swept in New York this weekend, is it season over? Is it all done?
Did they start 7-16 last year?
7-16. And they were swept in Detroit. The same things were happening. They were not scoring, but they were still running Renfroe out there, Melendez. Nobody was doing. Vinny was still struggling, and they were 7-16.
Yes, he can.
Yes, he can. No, he cannot.
So they were 7-16, and no momentum at any point. And funny enough, that team finished with a winning record in April. They never turned it around offensively. Right. They just pitched better. They faced easier opponents. They ended up winning, and you said, okay, that was an awful month, but yet they get out of there over 500. I don't want the same thing for this team. Mm-hmm. I want them to hit this hot stretch, but at times, especially early on in the year, we look at just the sample size and say, it's never going to get better. They're going to lose 100 games. The other shoe is going to drop at some point. They are going to be on the winning side of these things. I just think there's too much talent within this roster for it to never come together. But for losses like this, we're going to know tonight what it really meant. You go out there, and it is Cam Schlittler who's dominant, throws triple digits. But if you go out there tonight and you put together a good offensive showing and you win game 1, who knows? As awful as that loss was yesterday, and I would never want to relive that again, it could be the fire that finally ignites you of that's unacceptable for us, and 7-12 is nowhere near where we want to be.
And a couple things real quick with the offense. In that, at Yankee Stadium, Vinny has 4 home runs in that series. He hit 3 to deep right field. That if he pulls it a little bit more, or deep right center, excuse me.
Are you talking Detroit series, you mean?
Yeah, but I'm saying if it was in Yankee Stadium, he's got 4 home runs.
Over the bullpen.
That's what I was trying to say. I didn't say it correctly because it sounded like I was talking about this series was in New York. Yeah. if he has those same swings in New York, he's got 4 home runs in the series. Not Mike Trout, but he's got 4 home runs. He just hit it to the worst part of the ballpark in Detroit. So that's at least encouraging that he's hitting the ball hard and he's getting the right launch angle and the exit velocity. And he does hit the home run yesterday and gives them the 2-run lead there. So I think that's a positive sign. Salvi battling and fighting off and fighting off and fighting off and then getting a cookie and hits it to left field. The offense battling there. Jonathan India looking better. Jack goes to the plate not with a 1 in front of his batting average when he goes up there and looks at the scoreboard. He's batting .275 right now. And for all of the unlucky parts of last year for Cags, like, man, that was 111 off the bat and it was an out. What the hell? He had one that was smoked up the middle that hits the base and bounces into the outfield for a hit. Hitters will tell you those never even out. Pitchers will tell you those never even out. But at least yesterday it was like, okay, there you go. That's a hit. Keep hitting the ball hard. Good things happen. That was going to be an out. But it hits the base and it bounces over, and so you get a little bit of a break there. But it doesn't do that if he doesn't smoke it at 108, up the middle. And so it's not putting lipstick on a pig. It's not. Because they can go to New York and give up 12 runs. Michael Wacha can have an amazing start and then go, well, there you go. He gave up 5 runs in 4 innings, and it was an awesome 3 games, but you can't expect him to have a .4 ERA. And Cam Schlittler has really, really good stuff. And it's like, well, they don't see Max Fried. That's a break. They didn't see Skubal and they got swept. So I don't know that it matters that they don't see Max Fried. So they got a break in these 6 games. They got a break with not seeing Skubal and Fried. And right now they're 0-3. And it didn't matter if they saw. I would much rather have them have seen Tariq Skubal. And then next time you play Detroit, you skip Skubal. You got to break this go around. So we'll see what ends up happening. I'm hoping that yesterday was a break or breakout. But the bullpen still has some things to be figured out.
In fairness, the Royals hammer Skubal. Skubal is 4-9 with a 4.06 ERA against the Royals.
Well, that's the problem. They didn't see Skubal. Damn it. And they kill Max.
It's kind of hard to believe things are going to get better.
It is difficult. Yes. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. I'm going to talk about the vote yesterday from the City Council. Downtown baseball, 11-2. The council members vote to approve the ordinance. Mayor Q talked after it was over, and we will discuss Royals off the field. Royals on the field not showing that they're taking the next steps and improving from a year ago. Royals off the field have to answer questions as to whether or not they have learned lessons from 2 years ago. We'll talk about that next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Jack Johnson hanging out with us. Another segment here with Jack before we hear from Chris Atkins. Getting you set for some Major League Baseball and some NBA. Almost done with season 3 of Shrinking on Apple TV. Jack and I were talking about that in the break. Maybe my favorite TV show. It is so freaking good. Because we were talking about where that clip came from, Michael. The clip that we played again.
It's getting kind
Yeah.
of hard to believe things are going to get better.
One of my favorite movies, too.
Yep, Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Jason Segel, and he's, executive producer and writer and all these things with Shrinking. Harrison Ford. It's such Brett Goldstein that you would know from Ted Lasso. Wisso is really awesome in the TV show as well. Those 3 seasons, it's a half hour, so it's an easy. Some are 45 minutes, some are an hour. Just depending on that. They've got the space to do that when you stream. But God, he's so freaking talented. Jason Segel, singing, the piano. He does a number of different things where he plays different scenes in the piano and stuff, and does some songs and some original songs in that, which is why it reminded me of that. So it is an amazing TV show. Absolutely love it.
Also, I saw No Country for Old Men last night for the first time.
That's the first time you've seen it?
Read the book. The book's phenomenal, but the movie was great too. Cause,
Better than the book?
close, because
Yeah.
Sugar. Hell of an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying, creepy,
Incredibly
ominous.
creepy. Yes.
It is.
I've never wanted to be, I've never been more afraid of potatoes before. I didn't know you could kill people that way. Turns out you can. As long as you're not talking about how good There Will Be Blood is. Because that movie sucked. Anybody, because they came out at the same time, and anybody that's comparing No Country for Old Men and There Will Be Blood, get the hell out of here. There Will Be Blood it's a glorified Hollywood production value. Oh, the movie's boring as hell. It's got a great line of, I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. Great line. That's it. Give me No Country for
I
Old
found
Men.
out that there's no country for old men.
There
That,
is
like,
not.
If you're old, I'm sorry, there's no country for you.
I found out a long time ago that all dogs go to heaven. Did you know that?
Good for you. Yeah.
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 Such a cool thing. They all go to heaven. I was told as a younger kid they all went to a park. The dog went to
Or
the
a farm.
park. Went to the farm. It
Farm,
just sent him
yeah.
to the farm. Farm's a better way to put it, but maybe it's the park. Oh, it's at a park having fun. It's the Heaven Park. Speaking of parks, Washington Square Park. Hopefully, in a few years, we'll have a baseball stadium there. 11-2, the council voted. I appreciate that it wasn't, again, I talked about this the other day, guys. I appreciate it wasn't just a rubber stamp, that there are discussions, the Parks and Rec on Tuesday, not just a rubber stamp. They were in the closed meeting for a while. They came back with amendments. The city, the finance and governance meeting a couple of days ago that you covered, Sterling, and you were so excited to be there, and you decided that maybe you're going to switch careers and do that for a living. So that's cool. You got so into it. Mayor Q looked at you and said, "Where's Steven?" That was fun, too. Finance, Governance, and Public Safety Committee, that they offered amendments. Like, well, no, what about this? You talked about the minutia of one word
Yeah.
that they wanted to figure out. One word, intent or responsibility, and spending all that time. Again, it wasn't just rubber stamped like, oh, great, Q, you've come up with this idea. Let's do it, man. So I appreciate all of those things. And yesterday they voted 11-2, overwhelming support in the city council to move on with the ordinance to enter in a good faith agreement with the Kansas City Royals for a lease for a ballpark at Washington Square. Now we'll see what happens with the state. We'll see if the county gets involved or not. But I appreciated that it was actual, it felt actual, organic, and real discussion and not, oh, let's put on a show here for people. Because they also included some other things in the CBA. They talked about some other issues that need to be included. They still have to go back and vote again when the Royals come up with what the actual financing and the deal and agreeing to a lease will be. They still have to go back to the city council and vote again. So all of these things that they are wanting in the CBA, even those that agreed to it and voted yes, are like, okay, well, we'll see when the Royals come back with the CBA. Does it have to do with the, if anything around the ballpark has to do with affordable housing? Does it have to do for helping out with homelessness around the area? Is there a CBA part of it that has to do with anybody that's working or building a hotel is allowed to unionize, and they will have a real livable wage? That's a part of it, that the Royals aren't just going to, cheap out. And these things all have to be agreed upon in the lease. But what the step yesterday, guys, to me is the city did their part. We'll see what the state does, but it certainly seems like, the governor's talked about it. To me, it's now up to the Royals. It is square. It's like Dennis Gates. The pressure is on him now. You got the players, and now, hey, coach, go do it. The Royals got what I think they probably wanted for a number of years when they put out that letter in 2022, John Sherman, of saying our intent is to move downtown. We are not going to be playing at Kauffman after 2030. They sent that letter. From that point forward, I would guess if you told them then this is the deal you're going to get for Washington Square Park, I'm like, hell yeah, this is great. Also, right, wrong, or indifferent, it doesn't go to a vote. It goes to the city council votes. The city council members are elected, so they should, in theory, be representing the voters. But the Royals now are on the hook because I know we could talk about the Chiefs and the renovations and everything. I believe the Royals are most responsible for the failed vote in 2024. With the rollout, how haphazard it was, the random deadlines, last-minute picking crossroads, the day of the vote or the day before the vote, they decide that they're not going to be able to cover up the street, that they have to have access on that street. That's 200 feet into right field that the street's going to be going through. Like, what are you going to have, a blue monster in right field like they do? Well, we'll figure it out later. That morning, they get a deal done with the crossroads. It was like a week before Mayor Q finally got on board. Like, this is led by Mayor Q.
Yeah.
Mayor Lucas it took him a while to go, okay, yes, now I'm on board with this. Like, I think that while the Chiefs weren't exactly throwing out the bells and whistles for the renovation, the Royals and their packaging of it was a big reason why that vote failed. And if it does not work this time, it will be on the Royals again. Because the city is presenting something that the city council has already overwhelmingly supported, that is now saying, we're overwhelmingly support it to then negotiate the lease and the CBA and what the Royals are going to present back to us to approve it. And if it goes back to city council and they go, this isn't good enough, we're voting against it, that's on the Royals. It's not Frank White being obstructionist. It's not, here's the villain, everybody. It's on the Royals. It is their responsibility now. And we'll see what they do. But it's a big step. It was a huge step yesterday, but there are no excuses anymore. No excuses for the Royals. They've been negotiating with Crown Center. They've been negotiating with the surrounding businesses. This has been in the works for a while. If they get to the 1 yard line or bases loaded with nobody out, as Mayor Lucas has talked about, or at the 1 yard line and first down or whatever trying to score, if they're at this spot and they don't score, it's because they decided to throw the ball instead of giving it to Marshawn Lynch. They got too cute. They thought it was going to be easy, and they decided to cheap out on some things. I've already said, Jack Sterling, the first go-around in 2024, the Royals pledged $1 billion. I don't want to see a dime less. The Royals this go-around. You pledged $1 billion in 2024. Now the city is going out of their way to make sure that you get this ballpark downtown, or the city gets the ballpark that you can enter at least. The state of Missouri is saying, yes, we're creating a Show Me State Sports Investment Act to keep the Royals in town. We're doing all of this to make sure you stay. And then if you want to slow play it or cheap out and go, okay, cool, great, now we don't have to do much at all anymore. No, now it's on you. Show the citizens, show the city, the Royals fans, that you are as serious about the ballpark downtown as the city and the council members and Mayor Quentin Lucas and the governor are, and what they've presented to you.
Agreed. It's firmly on the Royals' shoulders, on their plates now. You got to get it done. I think it will, but you're right. That $1 billion at a minimum has to still stay the same, or else it does look cheap, bad taste. Mm-hmm. I think then there would be a case of frustration from a lot of different people of, well, why is it less now? I get it. You're a businessman. You might have more power now because the Chiefs did go to Kansas, so now it feels like if you're the city, if you're Mayor Lucas, you almost have to keep the Royals because you let 2 teams leave on your watch. Whatever your thoughts are, that's a bad look, right? And so there is a little bit of, I think, pressure maybe to make sure it gets done. But again, you're right. The Royals have to be a good partner in this as well. I think we all want the Royals to stay in Kansas City. I think if you just ask the question of, do you want the Royals to stay? I think everyone would say yes, instead of going to, let's just say, Louisville or Omaha. Nashville. But
San Antonio.
Now it's, you got to get it done. And it doesn't help that they're not playing good ball right now. It's not fun. If they were 12-7 right now, I do think whether you want to admit it or not, I know it's a very small thing, and we're talking about what it's going to be in 5-6 years, and then obviously into the future. Mm-hmm. But when your baseball team is winning, it makes everything so much more enjoyable. Everything's easier. You're more apt and agreeable and amenable to do all of these things. When you're sitting at 7-12 and you have 4 straight losses by 1 run, I know it's small. I know it's short-sighted, but I think a lot of people have that feeling. It's the feeling.
Here's the metaphor, too. The Royals in the last 4 games have had opportunities to win games. Like the winning percentage has been in their favor in the 8th inning or later in 4 straight games, and they've lost all of them. That's what the Royals are right now in this. The winning percentage is heavily in their favor to have Washington Square Park and a brand new stadium there in what I believe will be 2031. I think 2030 is a little optimistic and aggressive, and I don't want to just throw it up there like you're putting a Rector set together, okay? Make sure that it's got everything that it needs to have. And 2031, enter in a 1-year lease agreement with Kauffman Stadium, since you're staying in town. It'd be more difficult if you move to Kansas to do that because the lease says you have to sign on for a 5-year term each time. If you want to extend it, you can negotiate maybe a 1-year term with that since you're staying in the county and the city. But 2031 is what I would probably look at. We'll see. But, Jack?
Well, the vision was always to go downtown. I never really entertained it when it was, let's go to these other locations that are not quite close to downtown, because you want to have that appeal. I mean, I've been to a lot of stadiums that are downtown. What they have over the stadiums that are not even close is attendance. Like, it's easy to go to the game when you've got that many people all down in the same area. I mean, the Rockies are a team that historically have been terrible. They have great attendance. Mm-hmm. Like, I've been to that stadium. It's gorgeous. There's so much to do down there, and that's what needs to happen in this go-around. You need to make it a vibrant, entertaining, exciting place where it's not always just going for the game. There's stuff to do before it. There's stuff to do after it. You can spend money down there, and it can be this bright, new, great ballpark that hopefully 5 to 6 years down the road has a consistent winning baseball team. Whether that matters right now or not in the vote, I'm not really sure. I know Sterling brought it up, but you're hoping, fingers crossed, that by 2030, this is the team you're not hoping each and every April is going to get going. They're just going to be a top contender in the American League year in and year out.
We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling. Matt Derrick will join us at 11 o'clock. More Zone coming up next. We were at Heartland Men's Health on Wednesday. We're at the Independence location and continuing to remind you if there are things going on with you, the men out there, that you need to get figured out, whether that be erectile dysfunction, if it is low testosterone, but there's many different things that could be affecting you. Heartland Men's Health is the spot for you. Maybe ED happened once or twice. You laughed it off. No big deal. There are a number of different underlying conditions that can cause ED, which then in turn can cause depression and arguments and breakups and contribute to divorce. And the partner oftentimes thinks it is their fault, which isn't the case. Heartland Men's Health, they have treatments that work with success rates well over 90%. They have been successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. Schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit, as we tell you, it's $99. That includes, though, the medical consult with that licensed medical provider, a testosterone and PSA test. And a medically advised, you get a test dose, and if the test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. You don't pay a dime. If it does, there you go. You're on your way to figuring out what's going on. They have an expert staff, 3 locations to conveniently serve you: Overland Park, Independence, between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you on this Friday edition. We got baseball. We got the NBA playoffs going on the line now, legendary sports consultant, handicapper Christopher Atkins. Chris has been in the sports consulting world 42 years now, and he's beaten the bookmakers against the point spread on any given game day. The proof in the pudding today with this two-team NBA playoff Major League Baseball combo. Suns and Warriors tonight, Cubs and Mets this afternoon. And Chris loves having skin in the game with all the listeners, so he decided to release the NBA playoff Major League Baseball info absolutely free. On that free recorded hotline, dial 1-800-885-2525. That's 1-800-885-2525 and get the information today absolutely free. Welcome back, Mr. Bookie Killer. Very rare that you give out the combo on your free recorded hotline, so wondering why you decided to do it today.
What's happening, brother? Thanks for having me once again. I want to start by being very transparent. Everybody who listened and got my information on the total yesterday, I used the under, which absolutely lost. I think they scored like 19 runs or something like that. The total was 8.5. So once again, I don't win 100% of the time, but my percentage is absolutely through the roof. And I'm offering two information moves. Like you said, NBA playoff time is here, 64 days of basketball. Tonight, the Warriors are playing the Suns. And as an added bonus, if you call me now, I'm also going to give you an afternoon baseball winner, which is the New York Mets playing the Chicago Cubs, and that game starts at 1:20 Central Time. So once again, try me out with each sport. I make money for my clients, Jason, as you know. There's a reason why I'm on this radio station every single week. Tonight is absolutely tremendous. The Warriors playing the Suns. And once again, if you call me right now, I will give you the winner of the baseball game today, the Mets playing the Cubs at 1:20. All you have to do right now is dial 1-800-885-2525. Again, that's 1-800-885-2525. What it is, it's a recorded hotline. You'll be connected to that line. You'll get both winners absolutely free. Once again, the Mets playing the Cubs at 1:20, and then tonight at 9 o'clock Central Time, Warriors are playing the Suns. I've got tremendous information on that as well. It's 2-0 today, Jason. It's absolutely free. I want to prove to your listeners what winning is all about. Call my recorded hotline right now at 1-800-885-2525. Again, 1-800-885-2525 and be a winner.
You know, there's more than 60 days left of the NBA playoff and all this action. Major League Baseball just getting underway. You're releasing both those games today. But when you're talking about real money that's there to be earned, I'm just curious, like in the NBA, like what's the strategy that you use?
You know what it is? Great question. I don't care about the shape of the ball. It could be a football. It could be a basketball, baseball, golf ball, hockey puck. It does not matter. Information makes people money. I've been doing this for 42 years. I know how to beat the bookmakers against the point spread. And I'm going to give you two games today just to prove a point what winning is all about. Once again, Warriors playing the Suns this evening. And if you call right now, 1-800-885-2525, you're also going to get a baseball move, MLB, on me, the Cubs playing the Mets. It's free, and it's on my free recorded hotline. So the number again to call is 1-800-885-2525. It's not going to cost you a penny to call or a penny to win today.
Chris has been in the game for 42 years, know how to make that money on a weekly basis for the clients, and all you got to do is give him a call right now. Free recorded hotline, 1-800-885-2525, 1-800-885-2525. NBA playoff, Major League Baseball combo, absolutely free, proving it to you that Chris is winning and knows what winning is all about. 1-800-885-2525. Chris, appreciate it as always, brother. Best of luck today and tonight as well.
Jason, have a great weekend. Once again, 2-0 tonight, 1-800-885-2525. Call me now.
There he is, Chris Atkins. We'll take a timeout, come back. We'll talk with Matt Derrick, some football, some NFL football, Chiefs football, draft football. More Zone next. All right, hanging out on a Friday edition of The Zone. Jason Anderson, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcia, Matt Derrick. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. You damn right it is. Joining us here on a Friday. Hello, Matt. How are you?
I just delivered a hot water heater.
There you go. So you're doing some delivering now?
I delivered it to a basement with no light bulbs. So
Okay, so
my day's going great, Jason.
there you go. And now you're here to deliver hot takes.
Exactly.
So we'll see what happens with that. Did you install it and everything?
I could not install. I mean, are you kidding me? I couldn't.
I didn't
install a
know.
water
You delivered
heater.
it.
I mean, that's the most I can do.
I didn't know if you offered the full service.
Oh no.
Okay.
No.
There you go. That's fine. But it's very nice of you to deliver that.
I can Dr. Rick things. I mean, I can just like stand over the installer and say, "Oh, are you gonna use a Johnson rod on that?" Or
There you go. And it's like what?
Did
that
you
is,
use your Johnson? Is that what you just asked him?
That is
no,
not
his
what
rod.
I said.
Is that an Allen wrench you got there?
Exactly.
Is that ball bearings? It's all ball bearings these days.
You know, 5/8 or 3/4? What do you need?
Which
there?
one? Which
that,
was? Yeah.
that
Is that a-
European?
Is that a 3/4? What is that? Is that a 6/8? What do you got there? Okay. A 12/16 you're working with?
I just hope that at some point he asks us if our electricity is 110 or 220, and I can say 220, 221, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Yes. That'd be awesome. And then you offer the ball bearings. It's all ball bearings these days.
I can't believe you're watching No Country for Old Men when movies like, Mr. Mom is just sitting up.
Oh my God,
waiting
it's
to be
right
seen.
there.
You
Wait.
probably have never seen that.
I have seen Mr. Mom.
You've seen Mr. Mom?
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
That was a
Congrats on
movie
that, dude.
I'm fairly certain was given away in like a McDonald's
Oh, could've
giveaway a long time
They
ago.
gave away the movie? Like, what
I
do you mean they
believe
gave it away?
Mr. Mom.
Is it VHS tape? A
They-
ticket to the theater?
Mr. Mom McDonald's. Let's see what it says.
What does it say?
Yeah.
Does it say Tricycle Chariots of Fire?
This makes no sense because I wouldn't have been born, but somehow I had this.
Hmm.
In 1989, McDonald's offered the comedy film Mr. Mom on VHS for $4.99 as part of a promotional
Unbelievable.
deal. How do I remember that? I wasn't born.
I don't know. I have no idea how you remember.
Previous
That's,
life?
That's pretty good.
I mean-
how does Curtis remember every single president and the order in which they were in the presidency? He wasn't born.
Wow, I remember that.
That's great. That's good for
crazy.
you. We were talking about songs that we hear and we immediately think of movies. Like when I hear "fuck's it reminds me of Wayne's World with Garth. Anytime I hear Chariots of Fire, it's Mr. Mom and the scene at the end when he's riding the tricycle and they're doing the obstacle course. And when if I hear Chariots of Fire, it's what I think of. Dun, 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 dun. He's trying to win. That movie's really good. I like that. I don't care what it. Michael, I don't care what you say. I like the movie.
Michael Keaton in the 1980s did not matter the movie. It was you went to go see it. It was absolute gold. It might not have been culturally
Yep.
appropriate, but it was absolute gold.
No, there are guys over the years that you change in terms of I'll go see this. Michael Keaton was a season ticket holder. Michael Pena, I'm a season ticket holder. If he's in the movie or TV show, I'm watching it. Leo was that way for a long time. Tom Hanks was that way for a long time. I'm not as much of a season ticket holder for Tom Hanks, but
Like Margot Robbie, Sydney Sweeney,
you're a season ticket holder for them.
Megan Fox. I'd probably say
So
He's going a different direction than
are you caught up with Euphoria then?
no. I've never seen it.
Oh, so you're not a season ticket holder.
Well, I saw The Housemaid though. Good
That's-
book.
Right. That means okay, that's fine. You'll go to some of the events.
Yeah,
But you're not a season ticket holder.
I'm not a TV show guy. You know this about me.
And you know
Sounds
this
like-
about me, Michael Pena. I am a season ticket holder. If he is in the movie or the TV show, I will watch it. I told him that when we were in Tahoe, and I'm like, I'm not lying. Like when you are in it, I'm watching. I'm not just saying it because you're in front of me. Like you make the shows better. I want more scenes with you in them. And he was like, oh, that's very nice. I want less time on the radio with you. Can I leave now so I can go golf? No, he was very nice, actually. Surprisingly, that he was really nice to me because he didn't have to be. But it made it even better, because then you find out how nice he is.
There you
And it was great. I started off the conversation. Have you seen Landman, Matt?
I have.
Landman, guys. Sterling, no Landman. Mike Kell, Landman.
No Landman.
Sorry, but it's past season 1, episode 1, so I don't care about spoiler alerts. I'll tell you a spoiler alert if you haven't seen it yet.
About oil.
But I went up to Michael Pena. He was swinging on the golf course, and he was warming up, and he was on the range, and he was changing clubs. And so I was like, hey man, you really got me with Landman. I said, you really got me on that one. He goes, oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, well, wasn't my choice. Wasn't my choice. I said, dude, I was pumped, ready to go because you were in it. And that is one of the craziest opening pilot episodes I've ever seen with a star. And he was like, yeah. He was like, we all signed up. And he's talking about it and how it happened. And he's like, I was just as surprised. But he told me it was going to be a short stint and everything. I'm like, but you're in the previews. Like, you're a star of the show. It's like when there was a movie that came out and it was like Steven Seagal. So and Seagal dies in like the first 5 minutes. It's like, well, hold on. You promoted Steven Seagal as part of this movie, and he's like in the first scene, he falls out of an airplane. And so that's how I started the conversation with him. I'm like, dude, you tricked me on that one.
Wait, he dies?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. First episode.
Huh.
Yeah.
First
Well,
episode. And
now I know.
Yeah, I know.
You would not expect that from.
No, because he's a star. Yeah. He's an absolute star. So he was great. But I'm a season ticket holder to him. I think I'm finding myself being a season ticket holder to Jason Seagal too, with the TV show Shrinking, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, anything else he's in. He's fun.
The entire cast of Freaks and Geeks has just gone on to continued greatness.
It's unbelievable, right? Like looking back and seeing some of those certain times when Second City had like a group of people that were like, oh, that group then went on to Saturday Night Live and Stardom and this, and then there's other groups of Second City that was like, oh, they didn't really make it, but that Freaks and Geeks, like everybody.
And I can bring this full circle because now you bring up Second City because you started talking about Chariots of Fire.
Yeah.
What I think of about Chariots of Fire was there was a sketch on SCTV back in the day where this guy said he had come up with an idea for a movie that was called Chariots of Eggs. And the only thing I really remember about the sketch was that I remember somebody saying, well, yeah, it sounds a lot like Chariots of Fire. He goes, no, this is completely different. This is about two runners.
Speaking of runners, Kenneth Walker joining the Chiefs.
Exactly.
Really?
That's what I was going for.
Right?
Was the segue.
There it was. Love it. Love
there
the segue there.
He's going to be the chariot of fire for the Chiefs offense.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to fire off hot takes here. You know what? Let's start with that then.
Yeah.
Because I put out on the show preview today, I said Brett Veach has continued to tell us something about the offense. When are we going to start listening? Let's play this clip. Michael Darcia. Let's play clip number 6 of Brett Veach. And he was asked about Kenneth Walker, and he weighs in on Kenneth Walker. And again, Brett Veach has been consistent in his answers about Kenneth Walker. Can we actually listen to what he's saying and not just assume what Andy Reid said is going to be fact? Let's take another listen to what Brett Veach said when he was asked about Kenneth Walker on the team.
We do have some talent on the offensive line. I mean, everyone knows the potential and the flashes that Josh has shown, and then working on that interior with Kingsley and Trey and Creed. I think it'd be a smart play to take advantage of that interior trio there, and to be more violent and to kind of utilize those guys and their strengths. So when you add a guy like Ken Walker, I mean, that was why he was so attractive to us. I mean, he has explosive speed and he can do damage in the pass game. I don't think he got enough credit for that because they had Charbonnet, but I think when he squares his shoulders and he runs with power, runs with violence, but also has some elusive quality. So I think when you combine a back like that and you have a talented as inside three as you do, I think it would make sense to want to go out there and impose your will on other teams' defensive lines, and look, it'll be beneficial for Pat too. I don't think we want him back there dropping back 50, 60 times a game, to start the season.
So this is yet another time when he has talked about it would be a smart play. The words he used there, it would be a smart play to take advantage of those things. And he says about the offensive line, when you've got guys that are more violent and you want to utilize those strengths in the interior of the offensive line, and Kenneth Walker runs with power and violence, it would make sense. He has discussed how many times, Matt? Anytime Kenneth Walker has been brought up, he has talked about the interior three on the offensive line and taking advantage of your strengths there. And it's something that you'd like to see, a strategy, and that's how you would go about it. And offensively, also taking pressure off of Pat. Andy Reid did say, though, at the whatever NFL owners meetings or NFL meetings in Arizona that Kenneth Walker was successful at a shotgun and under center. So Andy Reid saying that versus Brett Veach 5 different times, it seems, saying Kenneth Walker, interior of the offensive line, is violent. They are physical. We want to take advantage of that. That would be the smart play. That's the strategy. So do we believe Brett Veach many times saying interior offensive line, power, violence, or Andy Reid saying, well, he was successful out of the shotgun too?
My answer is probably both.
Can you run it? Can you run with violence inside out of the shotgun? Can you just let the offensive lineman?
Actually, I think you can.
Yeah, just let.
I mean, I think you can actually.
Because it's not like him saying, well, he was successful with RPOs running the football. Like when he ran the football in Seattle with RPOs, I think that's the main thing that annoys me and some others is that I just want to see some different blocking concepts that take advantage of the interior.
See, that's where, I mean, when I hear that, when I hear what Brett is saying, to me, you know, what it envisions is an offensive line and a blocking scheme that takes advantage of the traits of those 3 players, which is to just man up and bowl over some people, not just go zone blocking and playing patty cake across the line with everybody. Just go out there and steamroll people and let these guys do what they do. And, you know, I mean, let's face it, this is the Chiefs' offense. They are going to do what they do. Andy Reid is not going to all of a sudden, you know, will wake up one day and decide I'm going to run the ball 75% of the time. I mean, even that Brett Veach quote, I mean, right there, I think you can take away from the fact that, you know, when he's talking about throwing back the football and everything, they're not bringing in Kenneth Walker to just absolutely change everything that they do. They brought in Kenneth Walker because they think that he fits what they do.
Yeah.
So they can plug him in. That's the problem, is that last year they did not have a running back that fit what they do. And I also think they had some really poor decisions when it comes to the building a blocking scheme and an offensive run game. And that even goes back to my beef about, you know, how the 2024 season ended. I mean, again, Vic Fangio put on a clinic for how to take apart the Chiefs' offense and the blocking scheme in the run game. And everybody in the league went to school on it. And you could tell because last year, I mean, Andy Reid tells you that no one respected their run game last year. That's because everybody knows the code. Everybody's got the cheat code for the Chiefs' run game. And last year was not helped by the fact that they didn't have anybody who ran the ball effectively.
Well, and you say match what they do, and Kenneth Walker matching what they do. Is that match what they do in terms of just keeping running zone, or match what they potentially could do with duo and gap and just, you know, firing off and powering, getting vertical of double team, now get to the next level instead of, hey, read multiple different holes in the outside zone, inside zone. Okay, just read the mic and then, you know, pick a gap from that standpoint, matching what they do in zone or matching what they could do if you just offer some more power runs up the middle.
I'm going to go with probably the second thing. I mean, it's a little bit of, I mean, again, everything's a little bit of both, but you know, here's the thing. As much as I may, like I said, I may have some critiques about the run blocking last year and some of the issues that I had. But at the same time, the Chiefs were one of the top 5 teams in the league as far as yards before contact for the running backs. The biggest problem that they had with the run game last year is that their running backs couldn't make the first guy miss. So even if they were getting 3 yards before somebody hit them, they weren't getting a 4th yard because they were going down at that point. So, and you just didn't have anybody that could break off the big runs. And you got to get those every once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, you just need like a 72-yard run once a season can change your prospects.
Yeah. And I don't, like, it's not to where I would say, okay, the Chiefs scrap everything they do with the zone inside or outside and just now become a power running team. But it would be nice if there were fewer RPOs. And yes, take advantage, like Kenneth Walker ran well with outside zone. You know, and I think there was, you know, inside zone, he's effective too. There was the play that really got me enamored and got the blood flowing in the Super Bowl when Kenneth Walker sees an open hole just to the right of the center guard open hole, that gap right there. And he slow plays it and takes a false step. Well, not a false step. It looks like it could be a false step, but it was a setup step to the left. Got the linebacker flowing that way, and then boom, immediate acceleration to the right side and picks up like 25 yards. And I'm like, okay, so people talk about his vision and that he doesn't have the vision. Like, that was specific, setting up that blocker so I can hit that opening gap right there, where I know for a fact Clyde sees the opening and just runs through there. 4-yard gain, tackled by the linebacker, gets up, pops up, flexes, and goes back to the huddle. And it's like, oh, that was a pretty big hole, you know? Right? You know what? Hey, he didn't hesitate. You want a guy that's, boom, one cut, get downhill and go. Or you want a guy that understands the entire concept, that's the guy that's left unblocked. So how do I make sure I don't have to worry about him? I'll set him up this way, and he won't be able to catch me with the speed going that way. It's one play, I get it, but it is a play that he executed that I haven't seen a Chiefs running back do since maybe Jamal Charles, maybe Kareem Hunt, rookie and second year before he was cut. That you see the hole, you've got the vision, but you're also chess. You're playing the next step, the next play, the next move while you're setting up the first one. Chiefs haven't had a runner like that in a while. I think they have it in Kenneth Walker, and I think he could do that in power. He could do it in zone. I just want them to scrap more of the RPO stuff and play more duo, gap, fire off the ball, and just go kick somebody's ass. I don't mind pulling guards. Kingsley's athletic. Creed can pull. Like, he's that athletic. Trey can pull. It's fine doing some of those things, some counters off the pulls, but it's also fine with the defensive line, Sterling, and the linebackers thinking they're flowing side to side and watching where the pulling guard goes. And instead, you just got punched right in the mouth because they fired off, double-teamed, and Trey went to the next level to get the mic.
When I hear Veach say things like that and focus entirely on the interior three, to me it's twofold. One, he's more honest than Andy. Andy gives you a lot of nothing. Andy gives you a lot of coach speak. Mm-hmm. Brett Veach is very honest. So when he says the interior three, and
it'd be a smart play to utilize their strengths.
So, one, who do I trust more when they have conflicting opinions, or at least media conversations? I trust Veach more. I think he's probably being more honest. And number two, I think this is Veach implying to Andy, run under center, or at least use those three guys. I've given you those guys. I've spent large sums of money on those guys and draft capital on those dudes.
You wanted us to sign those guys.
Yes, so use them.
Yeah, Trey Smith isn't signed if Andy Reid's like, we'll be fine at guard without spending all that money.
No, but so to me, I think that's how I take it. I know you said a little bit of both. I firmly believe more or less this is on the Veach side of things, and Veach alluding to, hey, Andy,
I just wonder
those guys.
How many times does Veach have to say the same thing about the offensive line and the interior before we go, okay, that has to be a big part of what they're going to do? And we heard Travis Kelce say, he expected Andy Reid to make adjustments. And when he was talking about why he came back on the podcast, yeah, I knew Patrick would attack the rehab. I knew Andy would be making adjustments to the offense. Like, it was a throwaway line, but I think it means a little bit more. And maybe, Matt, I'm setting myself up for disappointment, because that could certainly be the case, just setting myself up for disappointment.
I mean, it is interesting to me.
But I'm starting to believe what they're saying. I'm taking what they're saying and saying, okay, I think there's more weight behind it.
I mean, it is interesting to me that we hear that, and I think each of us almost takes away different things, because and maybe it's the things that you want to hear. I don't know that I necessarily had anything that I wanted to hear, but in that, and Brett talking about that, honestly, one of the things that stuck out to me the most was talking about the fact that they feel like that Kenneth Walker can catch the ball out of the backfield and do some things for you. Last year, Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco had 37 catches for 244 yards. I mean, for an Andy Reid offense, that's putrid. I mean, that explains everything you need to know about why the offense didn't work last year. I mean, even before you get into how bad the run game was in general. But the fact that your top two running backs only go 37 for 244, I mean, Brashard Smith caught 25 passes on his own, which actually also amazes me looking back on it. I feel like that for most of the season, Brashard Smith was just locked in a closet. So the fact that he ended up with 25 catches kind of surprises me. But go back to 2021. Kind of a little bit of the glory days of the Chiefs offense, and there are two things that one stand out about that week. Because of the injuries and everything, you realize Darrell Williams led that team in rushing in 2021. 14-3 team. Darrell Williams leads that team in rushing. He also had, what was it? I'm going to make sure I got it right here. He had, what? This is great radio.
I love it. I'm just
47 for 452 receiving.
That year?
That year. That dude was 1,000 yards from scrimmage. We don't think about Darrell Williams that way.
No.
Think
about Damian that way.
Yeah, it was like Dirty Williams.
His
Yeah,
brother.
he was a good, nice little backup and everything.
Are you thinking of Damian when you talk about Darrell 1,000 yards? You must be thinking of Damian Williams.
Damian Williams was better that season than anybody there. If they had
Darrell.
if they had Darrell Williams on
Darrell
the
the
team
Barrel.
last year. Now, if they had Damian Williams last year on the team, I mean, they probably would have, they would have been a playoff team. I mean,
much better.
That's just how bad the run game was last year. But even if it is, and again, I mean, I think that Andy Reid's going to learn from what they did last year. I do think that there's a lot of reasons why the offense was stale. Hey, was it the lack of turnover? I think that the long seasons I think took a toll on the coaching staff as much as it did the players. So, we just did not see as much turnover in the offense as you probably should have between some of these long seasons because you just run out of time. I mean, Andy gives everybody some time off. I think he needs the time off to decompress and recharge. And, hey, you know what? I mean, you go to the Super Bowl and you take a couple of weeks off, all of a sudden, it's OTAs.
Yeah.
And you're installing an offense. I mean, it's just that quick.
We realize around here how long the off season can be if you don't make the playoffs and how short it can be if you do make the playoffs and play in the Super Bowl because, boy, it feels like we have been talking for a long time about the draft and free agency and how they get better because we've been doing it since early January and not mid-February.
Yeah.
And that 6 weeks is pretty massive. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll get Matt's thoughts on some other things he may have heard from Brett Veach that may stand out. We are 6 days away. Next week when we talk with Matt, Derek will be assessing what took place in the first round the night before and who are the players or player that the Chiefs have newly acquired in the draft. We'll take a timeout. We'll see what Matt thinks about other things Brett Veach said coming up next. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest. 41 is the Mike podcast. Brett Veach discussed and covered a lot of ground in his press conference yesterday. We talked there about Kenneth Walker because the conversation led us there. Anything else maybe that you heard? We got a lot of clips from Brett Veach that we can play, but anything that that may have stood out to you that you heard yesterday as we get closer to the draft?
There's a lot of little nuggets in there. The fact that they've had about 12 defensive ends in for their 30 visits, like almost half of their 30 visits have been with defensive ends. I think it does tell you that the Chiefs are going to address defensive line in that position in particular. And it also illustrates that they're prepared to use any of their first 3 picks on that position. I mean, when you're talking about going 12 deep and everything like that, you're covering the draft through 40.
Yeah. And
it looks like from some of the visits that we know about, I think they're probably even covered to like the 3rd round, that if they wanted to take a guy that late, any of their first top 100 picks, I think they could absolutely go defensive end there. That I thought was pretty interesting. I thought some of the conversation about making it clear that if they go with offensive tackle, it's going to be a right tackle. Made it abundantly clear that it's going to be a right tackle. Don't worry, Josh. You're still the left tackle guy.
Yeah.
You're the man. And I think it also I still would be stunned if the Chiefs took an offensive tackle at 9, but 29 is a different conversation.
Yeah, me too.
And he keeps saying it's a unique draft, and part of that is just that it's not a very top-heavy draft. The Chiefs will probably get a player that they like at 9, but I certainly got the sense from Brett that he's thinking that this is more closer to being like one of those drafts where there's like 8 first-round grades rather than there's 15.
Yeah, watch next year. There are going to be 6 quarterbacks taken in the top 10.
Matt, what was your takeaway about Veach's comments on Mekhi Lemon?
Yeah, I thought
You want to hear it?
Yeah, let's do it. If you got it, let's do it.
Play that.
That'd be awesome.
And then I want to play the top 30 visits here in a second. But this is clip number 9. Veach talking about the wide receivers at the top of the draft. So clip number 9 here. Here he is talking about Tate, Tyson, and Mekhi Lemon.
Obviously, Tyson and Tate have the size and the intermediate and deep field creative playmaking ability, and then Mekhi Lemon is just so dang productive inside, and he's such a savvy route runner. And I know there's a lot of Mbuka and JSN comps, and we've seen how successful those guys have been in the NFL. And so when you get just a highly instinctive player, maybe they have some limitations in regards to just an outside receiver, but they are so effective in there that they still cause havoc for other defenses, and they're still players you want on their team. So I think, those guys, and then you throw the Coopers in there, and I'm probably missing a couple, but, it's a good collection of wideouts. And like the defensive line, I do think, though, there are really good solid pockets in 3 and 4. So there's a lot of good depth there, and I think that runs from 1 through 4 at the receiver position.
When you're comparing a receiver to Jackson Smith and Jigba, you are making a positive comparison.
Yeah.
But I thought it was, and I bring the other 2 guys in too, because I thought it was, the way that he made the distinction that it's like, Mekhi Lemon, he made it sound like, hey, okay, this guy's a slot receiver. This is not a guy we're going to put on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
But these other 2, Tyson and Tate, these are guys that we would put on the outside, but we're not moving in. And I don't think that it really matters what you think of Rashee Rice when you're talking about these receivers, because you don't know what's going to happen with Rashee Rice. You don't know if he's going to be on this team past this season. This is the last year or so of his rookie contract. So you don't know. You're not. I think you're absolutely at this point planning that it's going to be almost an empty room in 2027. Xavier Worthy will be there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know anybody else. Probably Tyquan Thornton because he's got a 2-year deal. Right. But you don't even know if Jalen Royals is going to be there.
I had no idea. They didn't even play him at the end of the season. But
so
I'm counting on Rice and Travis Kelce, that both of the being there last year. So next year at this time, there's no Rice, there's no Kelce on this team.
So you could need an X outside. You could need a slot receiver. You could need a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that you feel like you're going to have for sure in 27 is a Z receiver and Worthy.
Yeah.
So you could go any direction with, and honestly, you could take a couple of receivers if you wanted to. Brett talked about maybe needing a couple of guys on the defensive line, and he even talked specifically about just needing 2 defensive tackles, which I also agree. We've been talking about the fact that they need 4 or 5 new faces on that defensive line just from a number standpoint and from backup standpoint. and they've only added one so far.
Yeah. Which, by the way, how is Xavier Worthy should have been just strictly an X receiver. I mean, come on. I mean, he's X. So, or spell it Xavier Worthy. Z-A.
He should have been bigger. I mean,
well, that too. Whatever. I wanted to go back to when you talked about the top 30 visits, because it's something you and I have talked about before, of like, this seems a little bit different than strategies in the past of the top 30 visits. And so you asked Brett Veach about the differences this year in the types of players that they are bringing in. This is a clip 10, and the types of players they're bringing in with their 30 visits.
That's a great question, Matt. So in the past, picking at 32, we've probably spent most of those 30 visits on non-combine players that we wanted to get medical on. We spent a lot of our time with those prospects that we felt would be in that 20 to 40 range at the combine. And having a late pick, I think the numbers that we were looking at were different. I felt we were good with the information we got with those players. This is a unique draft where when you're picking at 9, and with the uniqueness of the draft in and of itself, less quarterbacks and, maybe less, like usually you get 2 or 3 high-level defensive tackle prospects. And so having those limited numbers. And then as I mentioned a little while ago, like the grades are so close now with these guys from say 10 to 30, 10 to 35. You want every bit of information you can get. And so I mean, look, we brought in maybe 3 or 4 non-combine guys, where I think in the past we brought in 10 to 15 non-combine guys. I feel like we brought in every defensive end in the NFL or the NFL draft that could be drafted this weekend, and we must have brought in about 12 of those guys. But again, that's because the grades are so close, and may have the opportunity to get one of those guys at 9. It may be 29, and just making sure we cross all our I's and dot all our T's. So I think the distribution of the talent and where we're picking certainly lent itself for us to let's just knock them all out. And that was helpful and beneficial for us. But it did take away from our ability to bring in some of those non-combine guys. And that's why I went back to my earlier comment and thanking Rick and his staff, because, we're asking him to do some, unorthodox things with some of these later round picks. But, we have all the confidence in the world with Rick and his staff. And but to your original question, Matt, yes, it did kind of affect the way we handled that process.
A couple things that I want to talk about. He mentioned that the brought in every defensive end almost that was maybe on their board. He said the unique draft, no quarterbacks, and he says usually have 2 or 3 high-end defensive tackle prospects, not defensive end prospects, but usually have 2 or 3 high-end defensive tackle prospects. And then talking about defensive end could be 9 or 29. But then saying, it's why I go back to the conversation with Rick, because we may be doing some unorthodox things with picks later in the draft. That really stood out to me, and I put a star next to it. And I wanted to ask you about, do you have a theory on what the unorthodox things would be late in the draft in connecting what their 30 visits were and what it means to be unorthodox late in the draft?
What I'm kind of understanding about it is that basically they're trying to do the same research that they would do on these guys when they would bring them in for visits, but they can't bring them in for visits. So, they're trying to get the information other ways. He mentioned one thing, that they're a big Zoom team, but now they're doing even more Zooms. Mm-hmm. So I would expect that they're doing a lot more Zooms with these lower, these non-combine guys and undrafted potential free agents.
Do those count as 30 visits?
They
Zooms?
do not.
Okay.
No. I mean, they basically, my understanding is I think they get unlimited Zooms.
Okay.
And there's not even, I believe, a limit on the number of Zooms per player, because, remember last year, I think they did 5 or 6 Zooms with Josh Simmons.
That's right, yeah.
But no, my understanding is that it's basically what he's asking, Rick and his staff to do is to just get information on these non-combine players as any way they can. If it's, whether it's working with the player, the agents, the schools, obviously with permission of the player for HIPAA and everything, but trying to just get like old X-rays and MRIs and things that have been done in the past, looking at all of this and kind of, I kind of compared it when I was being told about it. It's kind of like you're watching one of your favorite crime shows and everything, and they don't have access to the body, but they're doing. You got the coroner doing the autopsy with photographs and
Oh yeah.
and all this stuff and everything. Basically, the same kind of concept. I mean, they're asking them to do that, and that's hard to do when you don't have the person right in front of you and be able to look at things. So, and again, we don't the 30 visits that we see about, they're not truly totally accurate. One, we don't usually get all 30 leaked out to us and everything, so we don't know. I've seen a couple of different lists out there of that have compiled it, and there was one player in particular that I think posted on his social media that his agent came out and said no, he's not, and and that's the thing. Usually the Chiefs don't want this leaked out and everything. So, hey, some of the lists are probably close to accurate. I mean, I've heard that there are players that have come in have not been listed anywhere that I've heard have come in for 30 visits. And so, I mean, you never know. And they would, obviously the Chiefs, they would love to get their hands on anybody that's has an injury history of some sort. Yeah. So, we haven't seen Jordan Tyson on a visit list, but I'd be stunned if Jordan Tyson didn't make a visit to the Chiefs.
Yeah, it'd be, I thought he was on a visit list for some reason. I could be wrong. I'm just looking at a lot of different receivers that showed up on the and every defensive end that's draftable prospect apparently, according to Brett Veach. Because when I first heard that, right, I'm trying to take notes, and he's like, doing some unorthodox things late in the draft, and I'm like, it stood out, and I'm like, okay, so unorthodox things late in the draft. Are you going to go more injury risk? What's the unorthodox? Then going back and listening to it again, I'm like, okay, he means unorthodox as in like Rick is preparing the medicals in ways he hasn't been asked to do in the past.
Yeah.
Because they're picking number 9.
Yeah.
And they are looking at, we better get 9 and 29 right.
Does that allude to Tyson at all then? With the amount of injuries he has had?
I don't know. I mean, they saw him at the combine.
Saw him at the combine. He's doing a workout today.
Yeah.
That a lot of people are going to be at and everything. But, people I've heard from and talked to say that, he's good. That they're expecting he's probably going to have a fine workout and everything like that, unless something happens. But,
well, again, I think there's no denying his talent. I've said I think he's the best wide receiver in the class. The issue I have is every year, he might be healthy now, but he's probably healthy to start almost every single season in college, and almost every single year had an injury or two that was not ideal.
You got 3 that really to worry about. One, you got the knee where he blew out everything basically. And it was really similar to like what Jeremy Maclin had at Mizzou. So, that one doesn't bother me that much because he did basically the exact same thing that Maclin did.
Sure.
Sits out a year and then comes back and has a monster year first year back. That was impressive. He had the shoulder, clavicle. Those are flukes. You can't necessarily. Xavier Worthy had one of those from Friendly Fire. So,
sure.
Again, Tyreek Hill had that. Some other guys have had it, and you don't see a repeat of them. So,
sure.
The hamstring was the most recent one, and if that one, the positive of that one is that dude tears the hamstring and then goes back into the game, to get the winning touchdown. He's tough, and my guy Nick Jacobs on our 41 is the Mike podcast, humble plug. He was talking about watching him on film and everything, and said really, the only deficiency that he saw was just a little bit of strength. And then, the dude goes to the combine, and the only drill that he did at the combine was the bench press, where he pounds out 26 reps.
Did he actually do 26 though? There was some hip
I
stuff.
will die on the hill that it's not a clean 26.
There was I think there were maybe like 5 clean ones.
That's a good point. That was at the combine,
right?
Which is more official than
I know, right? I maybe the most shocking thing from the combine is that they officially put it as 26. I was watching them like,
bless his heart. I've seen some guys at pro days put up like 36 reps.
Yeah,
and there was like maybe one legit clean.
Yeah, like halfway up and the back down, and hips are moving,
and the hips are already moving. And everything,
legs are fully off the ground.
Elbows never lock.
That's right. But even doing 26 where he's got to have some help from his lower half to push, it's not Kevin Durant doing 1.
No. And most receivers do like 12. So
yeah, right. So he is strong from that standpoint.
I would not want to do press coverage against a guy who did 26 reps on the bench.
Yeah, regardless of how official. They were official at the combine, so it's as official as it gets at the combine. But yeah, he's been my number 1 receiver for a while now that I've haven't been as enamored with Carnell Tate as other people have. I worry about Mekhi Lemon for different reasons, and maybe that's the Sky Moore is really shading my opinion of Mekhi Lemon. I know they are different types of players, but I remember Sky Moore was a pristine route runner that caught everything, and he measured the biggest hands at the combine, and he was a guy that got open, and then he never did any of that stuff. And I want them to find, if they draft at 9 or trade back and draft somebody that's a wide receiver, it's got to be a volume guy. It's got to be a guy that they could feed to and maybe run the offense through him or him and Xavier combined starting in 2027, and whoever else they may or may not get along the way as a wide receiver.
And there's a phrase about Jordan Tyson that I've heard from at least a half dozen people, and it so resonates because when I see the guy, I think the exact same way. So you're like, Mahomes and the Chiefs have not had a guy like that in a long time. I mean, I think you have to go back to at least Sammy Watkins since they've had a guy like Jordan Tyson, and I think Tyson's better than Sammy was during his Chiefs career. I mean, at that point in his career and everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
that point in his career.
Sammy had some really good years, so I don't want to put that kind of pressure on the kid.
And Sammy was a much higher level prospect coming out of college than Tyson is.
And hey, if Tyson came out and had the similar career numbers that Sammy Watkins did, I mean, you'd take that right now. I mean, those were good numbers for a good chunk of his career. So that's no knock. I mean, and to me, I think that's actually a positive comparison. But I think he can be better than Sammy. But that's the thing, is that if you look at just strictly 2026, and I'm with you on your slot receiver, if you're the Chiefs, based on your past experiences, I think you want your slot receiver to look more like Rashee Rice than Mekhi Lemon.
I want a power slot
and
more.
You talk about that. You talk about X is Jordan Tyson on the outside, and you got Xavier Worthy on the opposite side, and you got Rashee in the slot with Kelsey and Kenneth Walker in the backfield. I don't know who's stopping that offense.
Yeah. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling our conversation with Matt Derrick. We'll talk about the things that Brett Veach has learned over the years. Does that mean they will be implemented in this particular draft? Similarities to 2022, but a little bit different in terms of the draft pick numbers. We'll do that on the other side of the break. More Zone next. I would continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, hanging out with Matt Derrick. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. Let's play clip number 5. Number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is Brett Veach talking about what he's learned since his first draft in 2018.
When you do the amount of work and you live in a film room.
Real quick, just what he learned in 2018 to now. So over the years of him being a GM, and the main thing he learned was, don't trade up and reach for a position of need for Breland Speaks. But here he is. Make sure this is clip number 5. What he learned, and that is patience comes with experience.
When you do the amount of work and you live in a film room, I think you get into this mindset where you think everybody sees the board just like you because you're in there. And again, I'm not saying that our boards are always right, but you think that everyone thinks like you. And so even now, like when I'm doing our mocks and I'm trying to project the first 5, 6, 7, 8 picks, I'm thinking, well, this is definitely going to happen. This is definitely going to happen. Then what happens is that it doesn't happen because not everyone sees the board like you. So I think it's just, being patient and being fluid and having an understanding that there'll be more guys that you like later on in the draft, and not operating with that mindset that, again, everyone sees it just like you, and the exact guys you like are going to fall in the exact order. And that's one of the things that even to this day I struggle with, because it's one of those things where, our guys do such a tremendous amount of work, and, it's a collective unit here, and it's a collective process. And there's an element of wanting to leave the draft with the guys that we're all excited about. And that leads to being aggressive because you just want to make sure you get those guys, right? But, there's certainly something to be said for being patient and dealing with more volume and having the ability to add more players to this roster. So I think patience is the biggest thing, and that's something I'm still working on today.
He is obviously self-aware in that it's something he's still working on, being patient in the draft. What do you make of that? I thought it was interesting when he said, you just assume that everybody sees the board the way that you do. And I think the only way that you could sort of realize that is with experience of year after year. Like, well, this guy wasn't even on our board. They took him in the 3rd round. Like, well, we had a 6th-round grade on that guy. That maybe the first 5 to 10 picks, everybody kind of has the same sort of similar view on. But patience for Brett Veach, and he said volume as well in the draft. Does that relate to this year's draft? Is he patient? Does he get more volume?
It could relate to this year because, you've got, with these 2 first-round picks, you've got 2 opportunities, honestly, that if you want to be aggressive and move up, you can. I mean, if they feel like that they needed to jump in front of somebody, if there's a player that they like, and, let's use the Jordan Tyson example. I mean, this is a player that apparently a lot of teams like, and if you get word that somebody like Philadelphia is trying to jump in front of you, and this is the guy that you want, do you then try to jump in front of them? And yet, at the same time, I mean, I think he's talking about having the patience to say, wait a minute, do I want to give up 2 or 3 of my picks later, or give up a pick and space, since Veach has been pretty good at just moving draft spots rather than picks. But, hey, do you want to give that up to just go get a player that you like, when at 9 you're still going to get a player that you really, really like? And I don't think that they've made any. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I don't think that they've made any mistakes that are on them in the first round. We can talk about Clyde, we can talk about Felix, but those were the last picks in the draft, the first round. I think they're different. But you look, they've made some mistakes over the years in the second round, and it's been when they have jumped up and moved.
Yeah.
And I think that's he's learned he's got to be patient, because sometimes hey, if you stand back and keep your resources, sometimes you avoid mistakes, and maybe it tells you to go somewhere else instead.
Well, they said, what about Kingsley, that the last 15 picks before it got there, they were sweating every pick. And Andy Reid's like, no, we need to be patient. We need the picks. We can't give up extra picks to go and get them. And he was there because people didn't see the board the same way they did, that they would have taken him at 50. And he was there late in the second round, and they were patient with that. I think 2018 or 19, he would have traded up to get him. I do think that's probably what would have taken place. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll trade a break with more Matt. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcia, Matt Derrick hanging out with us. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. Mick Schaefer is hanging out in the corner, but I'm cool with it. And
He's watching from the corner.
I watch from the corner. Sucre Waladowski is over there hanging out with us. Sucre. He's provided lunch for the boys here today, paying up on a ZOU bet from the Royals of 2024, or the Chiefs of 2024.
Something from 2024. It's been.
That's right. It's been a while. And then going back and looking through them, Sterling owes for the Royals of 2025, and Sterling and I tied and owe for the Chiefs of last year.
But see, we had to wait for Mick to do it
Is
first.
that right?
Well, yeah, it's in order.
It's in order? Okay. Well, this was technically Mick and Dylan, so Michael should have put in on this.
Sorry.
Michael takes over the
Mick, let me know how much I owe you.
You take over the debt. You know, when you slide into that role, it's like
You
when somebody
assume
passes.
the debt.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's right. The debt goes right to you. Sorry, you were in the will.
I was just so happy because I'm like, I've never lost yet.
Apparently,
I have lost.
You know what? You have by proxy. Sorry about that. That sucks for you. I'm going to go ahead and pay up my Royals ZOU for this year because remember, I was the optimist one on the Royals. No, I'm going to go over. No, I'm going to go over. Well, you can go ahead and count on well me, dude. I'm going to go over. So I just want to work ahead. Maybe next Friday I go ahead and pay off the Royals 2026 ZOUs.
You dumb bastard.
That's right. It's not a schooner. It's a terrible offense. Matt Derrick, Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast, is with us. Let's play clip number 8 here, and we'll talk with Matt about what Brett Veach had to say on this clippy clip. He discusses the 2 first-round picks and the similarities that are there from this year and 2022's draft.
I think it's similar because I think, the more picks you have, the more fluid you can be. So I think, and having 2 first-round picks like we did back then, I think, it allows to move in either direction and work in volume. I think, when you're enter a draft and you only have a few picks, you're kind of sandwiched in and the ability to trade up is limited. But I think even when you go back to 22, we were sitting there, I think in the early 20s and late 20 or 30, I don't even remember the picks when we moved up for Trent. They were still late 1. I think this is unique because we do have a volume of picks, but we're at 9 and 29. So I think that there's ability to, maybe move up back at 9 and up at 29, or maybe move up at 1 and back in 29. So I think that, like the 22 draft, it's exciting because you come in there with flexibility, but I also think that there's even more flexibility.
So flexibility that he talked about, fluidity that he talked about. It was 29 and 30, if memory serves, with McDuffie and Karlaftis. They traded 29 to move up and get McDuffie, not 9 and 29 like it is now. So, 21 spots higher when you're looking at the draft value chart of these particular 2 draft picks. He's talked about being fluid a couple of times, and patience. He's also talked about that. Sterling and I talked yesterday about a specific strategy or player, and if not that player, then I want them to do something specific, and that is Ruben Bain at 9 or trade back. Now, you can't press the trade back button. I get that. But Brett Veach did say the fans are in for a treat because he thinks there will be a lot of trades in the first round with so much gray area. Matt, I'd also be fine with a small move up for a Ruben Bain, if that means that they got him at 6 or 7. But if they're sitting there at 9 and he's not there, I don't know that there's a player that you're like, man, you cannot lose this guy at pick 11 or 12 or 13, and it's not worth picking up a third rounder. Because I can create a scenario they pick at 12, and then they're sitting there at 29 with the extra pick they got at number 12, and they can move up to 20 to get somebody. And 12 and 20 is better than 9 and 29, in my opinion, unless Bain is there.
Yeah, and that's the tricky thing, is that especially with this draft, and I should have gone back to just count even yesterday, because I know in every media appearance that I've seen an interview that Brett Veach has done in the past 3 months, he has called this draft unique.
About 30 times, I think he's now used that word unique. Because he doesn't want to say crappy.
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly what he's saying.
This is a sucky draft.
Exactly. I mean, he is saying that this is a pitiful draft. And he said it 20 different ways yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, when he was talking about, hey, there's no defensive tackles in this draft. There's no quarterbacks in this draft.
It's no longer unique how many times he said unique.
It is definitely not unique anymore. And, and he's right. I mean, probably, arguably, a couple of the best players in this draft are non-premium positions. And that doesn't even include the fact that Arvell Reese is going to be one of the top 3 players taken, most likely. And I don't know if that team is taken to play linebacker or defensive end. I don't think that team's going to know for sure what he's going to play.
I was surprised, though. He did say multiple elite defensive tackles, right?
He did say there aren't 2 or 3. Usually you get 2 or 3 top defensive tackle prospects.
Is that true? That seems like a lot. I'm trying to think of top, legit top 10. Like Jalen Carter was, but the off the field. I'm trying to think of other guys who were like, oh yeah, slam dunk. It's the D tackle, not D end.
This is the Obi-Wan Kenobi. Things are everything. That many of the truths that we cling to are true from a certain point of view.
So last year,
there might be a defensive tackle taken in the first round this year. I mean, that's how skinny it is.
Remember last year, and we talk about beauty is in the eye of the beholder, defensive tackles that went in the top 20 or top 21, and all of these guys were mocked at different areas, and I think at some point all of these guys might have been mocked in the top 10, just in different mock drafts. Top 20 picks, defensive tackle. Number 5, Mason Graham. Number 13, Kenneth Grant. Number 16, Walter Nolan. Number 21, Derek Harmon. And there were mock drafts that Derek Harmon in the top 10. Walter Nolan is the best, defensive tackle from Ole Miss. Kenneth Grant, a can't-miss defensive tackle out of Michigan. Mason Graham out of Michigan. I said Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. Mason Graham out of Michigan. Were the every one of them at some point was like, hey, this is a top 10 pick. And I think what Brett Veach is saying is usually, at least from last year, there were 2 or 3 top defensive tackle prospects, but where they go is up to the teams to sort of flesh out what is more important to them and what traits they emphasize or feel like are coachable that might be missing, to where if they picked in the top 10 this year, maybe they take Derek Harmon at number 9, and he went 21 last year. Or maybe they take Walter Nolan, and he went 16th last year, and they take him at 9. One of those things, as opposed to, the top defensive tackles were Mason Graham. So last year definitely had that. Defensive tackle, top prospects that people had to decide, what are you going to do with this guy? Byron Murphy was the first defensive tackle off the board in 2024 at pick 16.
Did you go to the Bengals?
Seahawks from Texas.
Seahawks, okay.
And that was the only one in the first round.
Yeah, that's why I feel like
Murphy.
it was. I wasn't trying to say, Veach, you're wrong.
Why are you calling him a liar?
But that did seem a little bit of a reach when we hear that. I do think 29 is a spot where the Chiefs could. Peter Woods.
Well, in the year before that, I mean, just for argument's sake, the year before that, you did have Jalen Carter, Kalia Cansey, and then Maisie Smith that were all viewed as first-round grades. And isn't the report that they were trying to trade up and get Maisie Smith when they took FAU in that draft here in Kansas City, that they were trying to trade up to the Cowboys and get him? Thankfully, they didn't give up extra draft picks for a guy who's on his second team.
Which, by the way,
they just spent the pick number 32 or 31 on a guy that's because that was the year that was the forfeited draft pick. So it was the last pick in the draft Miami forfeited because of the collusion or the lawsuit, whatever that was.
Tom Brady or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. So they forfeited that pick, which would have been 21. So they had the last pick of the first round, but it was pick 31 for FAU. But they wanted Maisie Smith.
Which, if that's true,
they got it wrong twice.
That's my point.
Yeah,
is if they
got them both
cannot
wrong.
Identify defensive line.
Yeah, they got them both wrong.
They had 2 shots at guys they wanted in the first round and went over 2.
Yeah. Thank God the Cowboys were like, no, that's who we're taking.
That's what I learned.
We can't allow you.
That's
to,
my learned.
Be
is that
yes. Be patient. Be patient
they can't
and miss.
get guys. They don't know what they're looking for, or they do, but maybe look for something else.
When he says Well, did that stand out to you when he said there's usually 2 or 3 top defensive tackle prospects? Or was that him just going on about, again, how unique, quote, this draft is? The quarterbacks, no Myles Garrett. You don't have 2 or 3 top defensive tackle prospects where there may not be a defensive tackle in the first round.
I mean, it stood out to me in the sense that there at least would
Sterling's getting loose a little bit.
That at least normally there would be 2 or 3 defensive tackles worthy of being taken in the first round.
It's a good
I mean,
word.
like Sterling pointed out. I mean, Peter Woods might be the first one that goes, and I'm looking at NFL mock draft database right now. He's like 29th consensus, player on the board. So
AKA Chiefs.
Exactly. I mean, it could very well. There you go. Maybe it's going to end up falling right there. But again, this is the thing about going back to the original conversation about trading back if the player that you want is not there. I mean, absolutely a possibility the player you want won't be there. Yeah. Because, again, you think about it, and especially from the Chiefs' standpoint, I mean, I could see how you could reasonably...
Jesus, Sterling, another one?
I get thirsty sometimes.
Man.
I could see how you might reasonably have as many as 12 or 13 players with first-round grades. I think that's about the most that you could possibly have. Okay, there's let's say there's 13. One is Fernando Mendoza, whom you are not taking. Now you're down to 12.
Jeremiah Love, probably.
Jeremiah Love is a player you are not taking because you just signed Kenneth Walker.
Now so you're down to 11.
You're not putting $60 million guaranteed into your backfield, so you're down to 11.
There are 7 picks before you, outside of Mendoza.
7 picks before you. 3 of them, at least, are non-premium positions. So you got to take that into consideration.
Are you including Reese in the non-premium as a...
Or Sonny Styles and
Sonny
Caleb Downs?
Sonny Styles, yeah.
I would
Styles,
include.
Downs,
Reese
and
I might exclude. And, Downs.
Downs probably has a
Love.
first-round grade, but it's a non-premium position.
Yeah, it's a good call.
I would guess Downs 100% has a first-round grade at a non-premium position. I shouldn't say probably. I think 32 teams will have a first-round grade on Caleb Downs.
I would agree.
So now, you whittled it down to 9 and 10. Now, let's say that you're just not a fan of Mekhi Lemon. Okay, well, now you're down to maybe 8 or 9. Well, if you're down to 8, then there's a reasonable chance you're not getting somebody that you got a first-round grade on. And, I mean, I've been convinced from my conversations with people over the last few weeks, and I'm sure this could very well change again in the next 6 days because everything is so fluid and you just get more information and hear everything. And obviously the flavor of the week right now is Jordan Tyson, that's the guy that the Chiefs seem to be circling on and the most coveted. Everybody seems to be convinced of that.
I just appreciate everybody. Welcome to the bandwagon.
There you go.
Yep.
Jason, you were on the bandwagon early. It could change again. I mean, Bain is, again, another name's been connected with the Chiefs a lot. I'm convinced that there's somebody else that they've been circling to. So whether it's 2 or 3 players that they like, and whether that's another receiver, it's Mansour Delane could be in that conversation. I mean, you need a corner, you need an edge.
Yeah.
Can I give a little pushback when it comes to corner at 9?
Go for it.
The pushback I've given
be pass interference or illegal contact.
Because I might agree with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mick just threw a flag on the play.
Oh wait, you're a Chiefs player. They're not going to throw that flag. Sorry.
The Chiefs have a competitive advantage when it comes to identifying, developing, drafting, bringing in cornerbacks. They don't at tackle. They don't at edge, D-tackle. They don't at wide receiver. Like, certain teams have advantages. The Rams can identify wide receivers. They clearly have done it many times. It works for them. The Chiefs, on the other hand, are cornerbacks. That's their specialty. So when you draft a guy at 9 at corner, you're almost wasting what you do best. You don't draft edges well, and you don't draft wide receivers very well. So this is your chance to get a better chance of getting a hit and a guy that needs less development, right? You can develop corners later on. That's my personal opinion here.
I want to play this clip real quick, and just the beginning of this, Michael. This is clip number 11. I just want to play the first part of it because it goes to exactly what Sterling is saying, and I think maybe Brett Veach is saying a little bit too. So play clip number 11. He's talking about lessons of draft misses, but this goes into the cornerback spot.
If you miss on a player, it's probably the character and the love for football, and we all get enamored by what a player can do. And I think that everyone has an element. Well, if he's in our environment, it'll be different. And to your question, sir, and just learning over the years that we do have a great environment here. And if anyone's going to get the best out of any player, it's going to be here. But even some of those players, it's hard. And I think so just making sure.
Yeah, that's my fault. I did not cut it the way that I wanted to cut it. That's my. I didn't know that we were going to get into this. What I wanted to cut was the very beginning of that when he says, the vision and fit about those things. And he says, recently, the vision and fit, we've been really locked in. He goes, we lost 2 cornerbacks, but guys we brought in, we've had success. That's not a fluke. So my bad for not cutting that, because that was the first part of that answer. Then he went into specifically what the themes are, and so I was like, well, let's just get specific if we talk about the themes of misses and not that little bit at the beginning. My bad, didn't know we were going to get to that, but I can paraphrase what he said, and that is cornerbacks we brought in, we've had success, not a fluke.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad you played that clip
Yeah.
because I meant to bring this up earlier when we were talking about mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Jason made one.
and there you go.
Because I didn't care about radio.
Because
I don't love radio.
I think you love radio, but maybe you just love football more. I don't know. But that is a great point to make, and I think it's great that Brett has acknowledged that because, one thing you hear, another phrase you hear around the league a lot when it comes to draft prospects and everything, and you hear about this phrase in scouting reports, you can't change him. And that's when I think all GMs probably make this mistake. And the fact that Brett's kind of acknowledged that he has done this, which is that I think that applies to a guy like Rashee Rice. You take Rashee Rice because you're like, we can bring him into this locker room. We can change him.
Yeah, that's why
he'll fit in here.
I'm making my daughter watch all the drafts with us. So when she gets older, I say, look, you can't change him.
Exactly.
Right?
It's exactly that way. It's exactly that way.
You won't change him, honey.
These guys.
Listen, sweetheart, you're not going to be able to change him.
You couldn't change Marcus Peters. You're not going to change Rashee Rice. Can you change Reuben Bain? I mean, there's
or does he need to be changed?
What? Because everything we've heard has. What are the flags? Because I've honestly maybe heard the opposite.
I think the flags would be that at least what I have heard is that there was a second careless driving incident after the first.
But careless can be.
Well, but if you were involved in an accident that resulted in a death, wouldn't you try to make sure you were never carelessly driving again?
No, I get that, but it's easy to say, and I don't. By the way, I'm not trying to argue and say that. But if you don't use a turn signal, if you are on your phone, if you are, speed. There's a lot of things. Careless is such a wide array of what you could be given a ticket for. Careless is not criminal. Reckless is criminal. Hey. There's some differences here, and pretty much any time you get into an accident, you will get a careless. So I was trying to do a little research on this. I took a semester of business law at Mizzou, so I feel very, very apt and prepared for this conversation.
No, that makes sense.
How many mock trials have you lost?
None, because if I'm losing, I leave. I turn the game off like it's like I'm a child playing Nintendo.
Erroneous. Objection.
So for me, I don't know how much I take into that second careless because I don't know the facts. We don't know.
I don't know the facts
we
either.
Don't know, because if it's something as simple as he didn't use a turn signal, or as simple as maybe he was on his phone and a cop pulled him over, at that point I'm not going to just sit here and just blast the guy because I don't know. Yeah. Could it be something more? It could be, but I don't have that fact. So for me, I can't sit here and say that second careless to me is a red flag.
Well, and also there are also maybe things that the teams know that haven't been reported yet. We didn't know about this incident that happened in 2024, and the teams were aware of it. It was news because it became reported. I thought it was a little pretentious of the teams going, we've known about this. This is not a big deal. Yeah, well, we didn't. So it is a big deal that we're talking about this, that's happening, that's come out. And if they know about those things or that particular incident, we didn't, there may be something else. There was the talk about Rashee Rice. There was also the talk about Josh Simmons when he was drafted by the Chiefs. It was multiple teams say they didn't draft Josh Simmons because of an injury. It was because of character concerns, and it's okay, that happens after the draft. I just say there's a possibility of, if we didn't know about this for 2 years, there may be something else that the Chiefs or teams have found that would lead you to say, maybe not worth it at number 9. Everything public, though, while careless is an ambiguous term for driving. I totally agree with that. What we know, I would not penalize him in his draft stock with what we know, but I also think the conversation is worth having of, can the Chiefs be the team with Rashee Rice on their team that drafts Reuben Bain with the driving incident from a couple of years ago?
And I say this as somebody who's a strong believer in second chances and strong believer that, you give people the benefits of the doubts and all of these things. But then again, you're influenced on the things that you have seen, and I'm not saying that the two are similar situations, but at the same time, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the victim of a crime, and he was involved in the loss of a life that was not his fault, but it affected him.
Yeah.
Is Ruben Bain going to be affected? He was involved in the loss of a life that was not necessarily his fault. That would wreck me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Is that going to do it with Ruben Bain? Is he going to have a similar experience of Clyde? I don't know.
That's what I brought up. It feels more Clyde. It feels more like Clyde than Rasheed.
We're not. We don't have the ability to vet these things the way the NFL teams are. So our views of red flags to me are like different. I mean, they're and you're right. I mean, maybe we should just refer to them sometimes as flags rather than red flags because you automatically ascribe a severity to a red flag.
A beige flag.
There can be beige. There's absolutely beige flags. Got beige flags all over the place. So.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either. I was just trying to be cool.
Just like neutral.
Yeah, I was saying more neutral. And Matt, I don't know. That was.
I don't know.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Like to wave the white flag on this one.
I was trying to 6'7" my way out of this one. So.
Yeah, good job.
Show off my Riz. See, I got
There
a
you
million
go.
of these. There you go.
Good
I know.
for
I'm
you,
being.
man.
Sterling's looking at me like I'm very mid.
Would you?
Drove this segment off the cliff. You're not going to be hearing this at 6 o'clock.
It's getting kind of
Sorry,
hard
sorry,
to
Lebo.
believe Things are going to get better.
Great job, Darcy. Great drop.
Very well done.
I would wonder this, Matt, because again, the next time we talk, the Chiefs would have drafted in the first round. If Bain isn't on the board, and there is an offer from a team at whether the Dolphins at 11, I don't know that it would be the Cowboys at 12 could be that. Rams at 13, one of those 11, 12, 13. I don't want to be like, oh, you trade back to 20. That'd be different. Bain is gone. You're sitting here at number 9. You've got a couple of offers that you can pick up a third rounder to move back 2-3 spots. Is there a player on the board that you would look at and go, no, I'm not passing up on this guy? Let's say the general drafts have taken place. What most of the mock drafts were like, oh, that's a bad scenario. Tate, Lemon, or Tyson. Let's say one of the wide receivers is gone, one of the cornerbacks is gone, one of the tackles is gone, Reese, Bailey, and Bain.
I mean, to me, it's a little bit of a math game because it's going to be determining how many players that you have a first-round grade on that you feel is legitimately in that group. And that's where and the like Brett Veach talked about, trying to differentiate the defensive ends because they're all graded so closely together. I mean, I get there's a clump of these guys, and so maybe you don't necessarily think that there's a big difference between 13, 20, and 27. They're all from the same group, but at the same time, I mean, if you've done your job, there should be a distinction there. And if I'm on the board at 9, let's say it's
I just did a quick mock draft. All right, the Chiefs are on the clock at number 9. Number 1, Mendoza. Number 2, Bain. 3, Reese. 4, Bailey. 5, Styles. 6, Tate. 7, Love. 8, Downs. So the
really bad draft.
So the top
the Chiefs.
The top that are available are Maui Noah, Mansour Delane, Dylan Tyneman, Spencer Fano, Monroe Feeling, Kenyon Sadiq, Mekhi Lemon, Jermod McCoy, Jordan Tyson obviously is there as well. You're there at number 9. Is there a player possible that you're like, nope, we're not trading back because this guy is worth it?
Based on that board, I'm probably taking the guy I want in that scenario, not trading back. Because I think if I'm the Chiefs right there, and I'm just projecting what I think that the Chiefs board is, I think there's 2 first-round picks left in that group you made, and maybe I'm forgetting somebody else.
Maui Noah and Delane or McCoy?
I wouldn't even include Maui Noah in that group.
I think he's a guard. So Delane and Tyson?
Maybe he's a guard, but he's an offensive lineman. I'm not taking a right tackle at 9.
Delane and Tyson?
Delane and Tyson would be the 2 guys I'd have on my board. So, I mean, if you trade down to even 10, I mean, your really option is to go to 10 or 11. And in either way, I mean, you've got the chance that those be the next 2 guys off the board, in which case you're no longer getting. And
is Tyson over Lemon worth a third rounder, or is it better to have Lemon and a third rounder than just Tyson? Because if we're saying Tyson and Delane are your first rounders, and you trade back to 11 with the Dolphins, and 9 and 10 are Delane and Tyson, so you're sitting there now at 11, and Mekhi Lemon is the pick, but you've picked up a mid-third rounder. to go along with it? Like, is it because I don't know that I like Tyson a lot. I just don't know that there's that big of a gap for me with this team and all the needs to say, no, I'll pass up on the third rounder to get Jordan Tyson.
Well, and I mean, and that's the reason why I think it's going to be different for every GM. It'll be different for Brett Veach, even you and me. I mean, I would say I think Mekhi Lemon's closer to a second round grade than a first round grade.
Okay.
At least through my lens, if I'm Brett Veach and I'm the Chiefs and what I need, I don't think Mekhi Lemon's what I need. I mean, I do think that Jordan Tyson is what I need. And again, even if you trade back one or two spots, you got the chance of risk of losing that guy. I mean, it could go immediately.
Yeah.
And if you've got if this is one of the two players that you want, then I mean, at that spot, if there's only two players you want left on the board in the first round, you take that guy. Yeah. Because now, like we talked about, I mean, you trade back. Look at that list of players and everything that you rattled off there. How many are offensive linemen?
None of them. You would have your pick of offensive linemen.
Well, you had
sorry, I thought you were saying the ones that have been picked.
The opposite. No. It's you would have
on the board.
So you would have your pick of offensive line. You get the number one offensive lineman on your board, the number one cornerback on your board, maybe the number one receiver on your board if Carnell Tate, but you would be taking the second wide receiver in the draft. If you take corner or tackle, you'd be taking the first corner or tackle in the draft at pick number 9. According to this board and this draft so far.
And this is my hot take that I don't think is a particularly hot take. Josh Simmons is better than any tackle in this year's draft.
I agree.
Oh, I don't think that's not a hot take. That's cold take.
So there you go. See, it wasn't that hot of a take.
If he would have stayed in school and played one more year and come out this year and was healthy last year, I think it would be like, man, love to have Josh Simmons, but you got to trade up pretty far to get him.
But I'm saying, I mean, if any of these guys
from pick number 9, you got to trade up to get him.
Noah, Freeling. I mean, if any of these guys were in last year's draft, they would have gone in the second round. They weren't going before anybody else. I mean, that's just how weak this kind of group is. And like Brett Veach mentioned, there's some really good guys in that next group. I mean, I don't dislike a Caden Proctor's and some of the guys that
Blake Miller from Clemson
that are going to be. And if you want to quibble and say, well, it's a first and second round grade, it's still the second group. I mean, you've got a group of
that's why I think
first round.
When 29 comes to play, I think tackle can come into play. I've said
exactly
if you don't get an edge if you get an edge at 9, I'm totally content with tackle at 29. If you get a wide receiver at 9 and then go tackle, I think I might have some questions and some qualms of, okay, well, now you might miss the pocket of what? Parker, Zion Young, and now what are you running back? Are you running back just a guy like Gelati, the Mike Danas of the world again? Is that what we're going to be running and seeing next year at edge on the other side of Karlaftis? So, again, it all depends on how 9 goes, but if an edge is drafted, I think tackle at 29 becomes a real possibility.
And I mean, and to your point there, I mean, there's a lot of scenarios that I've seen where if the Chiefs go receiver at 9 and go probably right tackle at 29 and edge at 40, I mean, you may be really happy with that group of players.
Oh, you could be, but my point is if you wait till 40 to draft your first edge, I think there's a distinct possibility that Zion, that Parker,
it's possible
that those guys are gone, and now you're sitting here going, "Oh man, we are in no man's land."
But that's where I say, it's sort of Bain or I'm trading back because now I've got the ammo. Like again, if you look at the Rich Hill draft value trade chart,
Dick Mountain.
Yes, that's right. Moving back from even 9 to 11 will give you enough of a value to move up from 29 to 22. So you could be picking 11 and 22 as opposed to 9 and 29. 11 and 22 seems like pretty good. Or move from 40 to like 29 with that, although they're at 29. So 49 to 31 or 32. 40 to, let's say, 33. Let's say you get the first pick of the second round. If you slide back to 11, you could have 11, 29, and 33. Or 11 and 22 and 40. As opposed to just picking 9. That high-end pick, even to move back 2 spots, is so valuable compared to moving 20 spots in the 3rd or 4th round. And if Bain's not there, I'm like, give me the option of moving up and down the board at 29 or 40. Because if TJ Parker is there at 34 and they're sitting there at 40, but they didn't move down, well, now you're trading your 4th rounder to move up and get him. as opposed to pick 11, 29, and 35, and you got Parker out offensive tackle and maybe, let's just say Tyson for S's and G's, that he would be there at 11.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so.
I mean, like I said, that scenario that came up to me is almost worst case scenario for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, you're certainly it's great. I mean, if you're the Chiefs and you want a premium position, which I do believe would be the Brett Veach's first preference. I mean, there's our scenarios. Let's say the scenario is, and this is distinctly possible. What if your three of your guys available at 9 are Bain, Styles, and Downs? Is that a slam dunk for Bain?
Yeah, I'm not sliding back.
Or you being
I'm
like,
staying. Like I said, at 9 it's Bain. The only change would be like if for some reason Bain, Bailey, and Reese are there. I'm like, okay, well I'll slide back to 11 and take whichever one is still left over that was picked at 9 and 10. But if it's Bain and Styles or Downs, I'm taking Reuben Bain and figuring out 29 and 40 after that. Like I said, if I don't expect Reese to be there or Bailey to be there, and I know you're not as big a fan of Bailey for the Chiefs, but at 9, if he's there, I'm taking Reuben Bain. If he's not, I would like to slide back because I don't know that there's a prospect that's that much better than picking up a third. Or if you slide back even further and like, look, this draft isn't all that great, we're going to slide back to like 21, 22, and we're going to get a 2027 first rounder. So now we're picking 22 and 29, and we've got 2 first rounders next year, which we feel like is a much better draft because pick 16 next year might be like pick 8 or 9 this year with the freaking 10 quarterbacks that are quote unquote first rounders at this point, which are going to be 1. Because I think we entered last year's college football season with like 25 first round quarterbacks, and there's probably 1. So this is an interesting one because the gray area, Matt, and all of the draft capital that they have and the clear unknown of what other teams will value.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, exactly. You just don't know. And particularly, again, in this draft. And, and like Brett's prediction that he thinks there's going to be a lot of jerk trades and everything. Yeah. And, I mean, there's already a lot of smoke about, like, the Cowboys and the Browns, maybe Cowboys jumping up to 6. That would certainly change things because it'd probably be bad for the Chiefs if you want a defensive end because Cowboys are probably doing that for a pass rusher.
Well, maybe you move up to 6 and give a 4th rounder in your comp pick. I mean, is what it would take to go from 9 to 6.
Entirely possible. I mean, and like I said, that's a scenario where Reese, Bailey, Bain, all gone by 5. I think they were in this draft.
They
right?
were.
So they were all gone by 5.
Yep.
Okay. Now there's no edge that you're taking at 9. I mean,
It's when I take a long walk off of a short pier.
I mean, you might end up with, there's a scenario where you could end up like Delane as the corner as your top corner on the board. And maybe that's it. I mean, maybe Tyson's gone in front of you. Maybe the Saints took Tyson. I mean, and maybe your choice is between Delane, Downs, and Styles.
Yeah. I mean,
Styles.
Positional value is Delane.
Yeah, but Styles, I think at that point,
I mean, do you want
take
an off-ball linebacker, though?
Yeah, but you take the best prospect, I think.
And honestly, I mean, the best prospect might be Downs.
Downs or Styles. I think it's kind of probably 1-2. If you're talking about the actual best prospects, it's probably Styles and Downs.
Yeah.
1-2.
Matt, we'll see what you know. What, Matt? Before you go, I got to ask you this one: did they pick at 9 before or after?
I think they pick at 9.
Pick at 9. Okay. And who do they take?
I think Brett Veach is patient. I think he will sit back.
Pick at 9.
I think he'll pick at 9.
And who do they take? 6 days away. I know. We don't get to talk to you next week.
I know. If it changes, I'm calling in. I'm calling in during Listen or Lose.
I want on every single show that you do to be a different pick.
Oh, there you go. I could probably pull that off because I'm sure.
41 is the mic, on with New Day, and on with Seren, and on with us. 4 different picks.
I am sure that my mind will change that many times between now and then. I mean, right now, until I get new information, I'm going Jordan Tyson.
Tyson for you. All right. We'll see what happens. I mean, you've got 2 of the GOATs, right? Tyson, and then the second best player that's ever lived in Jordan.
Holyfield in this draft, too?
That's crazy, man. That's awesome. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling. Mick Schaefer will hang out with us. We'll talk about some downtown baseball. There's a college basketball coach that said something to Jeff Goodman that finally he gets it. He gets it. And also, we haven't talked to Mick Schaefer about old Bryson Tiller, huh? As Sterling said when he entered the portal, Bryson more like, bye, son. I mean, hello. Hello, son. More Zone next. Thank you to Matt Derrick. Chiefs Digest 41 is the Mike podcast. He and Nick Jacobs do a great job of covering the Kansas City Chiefs in 41 being the Mike podcast. And I would guess there's going to be a podcast coming up very soon about Brett Veach and pre-draft and things like that for 41 is the Mike. Their most recent one was they gave a closer look and a breakdown of Jordan Tyson. Nick and Matt did, because that's the flavor of the week. Flavor of the week is Jordan Tyson.
Jordan Tyson.
Jordan? Jordan. Jordan. Tyson. Mayor Q talked yesterday, Mick.
Yeah.
The city council voted overwhelmingly, 11-2, in favor to move forward with the ordinance to enter into good faith negotiations with the Royals. They turned down the bad faith negotiation ordinance that was originally presented, 13-0, nay. And then they presented the good faith negotiations, and it was like 11-2. This seems better. Seems like a much better play to go with here. I want to play this clip from Mayor Q, and let's play clip number 2. Clip number 2, as Mayor Quentin Lucas, after the city council meeting, said that it's now the Royals and the state of Missouri's turn to act.
It's my view that we've done everything today that we need to get to that point of at least an engagement. And so I think that when you look at what the city's been able to deliver, certainly if there's the question of has the city of Kansas City done its part, we have, I think, gotten a good deal. We have outstanding financial terms, some of the best in the history of Major League Baseball for a team, particularly coming from a local government. I think that you will look to the state now as an important part of the negotiation, any other partners that come into the discussion, including Jackson County. But I'm proud of where the city is right now, and I think, frankly, the city's contribution matched with what the state, I think, has already articulated might be coming down the line, is enough to get that permanent relationship set, and now we just need to get through the deal terms.
So Missouri had the Show Me State Sports Investment Act, and so they have talked about the money that they're going to be given, and this ordinance hits all the markers of 30,000-seat stadium and at least $500 billion or $500 million. $500 billion would be a really expensive stadium. We're only a
give
few
it 10 years.
Well, I was going to say we're only a few years away from that. That's actually what some of the kids in the portal are asking for, but a $500 million project at least, and so the Kansas City side has presented this, and they are now saying it's in, the ball is in the court of the Royals and the state. And my view on this, Mick, in the first segment or the second segment, whatever it was in the first hour, that I think the Royals are a big reason as to why the vote failed in 2024. The rollout, how haphazard it was, the missing random created arbitrary self-imposed deadlines along the way, never even considering the crossroads, and then they announce here's the location with renderings and it's at the crossroads, not knowing if the street's going to have a ballpark over it or not getting people around the crossroads on board. Mayor Quentin Lucas didn't get on board till like a week before. Like, we could talk about the Chiefs and how uninspiring that was, but this was really about, the Royals and moving downtown. To me now, Mick, this is now up to the Kansas City Royals. If this does not go through, if it's a failed vote with the city council and it doesn't, I think it's on them again, that this is put in front of them to figure out the best path moving forward, whether that be the CBA, the lease agreement, the businesses around for the quote-unquote ballpark district. If it doesn't go through here with what's been done and the steps that have been taken, it's on the Royals again.
Oh, I'd say so, right? It's their only option.
Mm-hmm.
It's their only option at this point. And so, yeah, the cities, there's not going to be a vote this time. You don't have to worry about that. I think the first time around, everybody was tired about just all the taxes Jackson County was having to pay, and I don't know if they were that well informed with all the things you were listing there. I think it's like, well, our property taxes just went up 90%,
and they're fine playing at the K.
And yeah, I'm good with that. So I think it's a great deal, and I think just gleaning, kind of reading between the lines of what the Royals spit out yesterday, I'm like, okay, it feels like they're happy and they're gonna move forward with this. And so hopefully so. I think it can still be. I think baseball downtown was always the best option. It's a little farther south, I guess, than what they originally had planned. So hopefully this ball gets rolling because it's halfway through 2026 at this point, and we are
No, a third. Come on.
yeah.
We're close. We're about 6
We're
weeks
third,
away.
yeah.
But I mean, or 10 weeks away, whatever, a third of the way through. I think 2030 is still ambitious. He's talking about 2030. I'm in my mind just saying 2031. 2031, and in the meantime, work out a lease agreement for 1 year with Kaufman,
Sacramento.
with Sacramento,
Yes, go to Sacramento.
Omaha,
Legends
Field, whatever it
That
might
would
be.
honestly be electric.
3-2.
3-2.
Blue Valley Rec down here. They're playing 135th. Well, we were
Home
talking
field.
about an OP location, so 135th in Metcalf.
Playing it-
That's where we're
yeah,
playing.
Home field or Creekside, playing up there for 1 year.
Finally have like 4 Royals at 60 home runs.
Yes, about time.
They're playing on the 300-foot softball field, and somehow there's Cags is still just hitting ball, just ripping singles.
Actually, the
Michael
other one-
Massey still has warning track power somehow.
The other thing would be true. The home run record would still stay at 49. Was still there.
No matter where they played. It's 200 down the line. How do you not have more home runs? It's just I keep missing. I'm so close to really getting a hold of that baseball. You're
Salvi
hitting 'em-
comes back. Thank you, my friend. I'm going to hit 40.
We talked to our analytics team, and they're going to move in the fences on field 23 at 3-2. Okay.
So it depends on who we're playing as to which field we're going to be
Yes.
playing on.
Are they the movable fences too? They're not even the real.
The fake ones.
Yeah.
It's got the metal fence.
They're on wheels.
If it rolls under the fence, so now it's a double every time. Like
We move them every half inning whenever the Royals come up.
oh, that would be great. It's it's on. It's like a rolling roof. It's the rolling fence that they have.
Yeah. But I think this is on the Royals now, right? This
yeah.
is it. This is your offer. I mean, Kansas not coming with something like this. North Kansas City isn't either. And John Sherman said the whole time we want to move it downtown, and that's downtown. I think it's a good location. I think you can revitalize the Crown Center mall area and maybe expand the footprint of downtown, which is kind of only seen as like really T-Mobile Center and P&L right now, and maybe you fill in the blanks there between Washington Square Park and P&L, and you can have an even bigger downtown, more light, more events, more happening, more people
lights
down there, everything.
More.
We'll be up to 14 lights.
Yeah, 14 light. I think you need more light. Yeah.
More hotels. How about that?
And also like we've talked about, people get annoyed and frustrated with the parking downtown, and I know that. They've talked about a parking garage. I won't be parking in a parking garage for a Royals game because I don't want to get out 5 hours later. Yeah. But they've got the streetcar that's going to be eventually done by the time this is done, it'll be Riverfront to the Ruse all the way down. So it'll be going through there. They're talking about adding new cars, certainly for the World Cup, but adding new cars then when Kaufman is done. But you also open up more I think regional opportunities too, because it's right there at Union Station. You live out of town, we're just going to take the train on in and then get off the train and boom, then we're going right to Kaufman Stadium or New Kaufman and do that. So you've got other areas with the streetcar and maybe opening up some opportunities for people that don't live near or hey, we're just going to drive 5 minutes and go to the stadium or around in the Kansas City area. The train's going to take us right there to the stadium. We're going to get off and we got to walk 2 minutes.
We're going to have to bite the bullet. It's going to be some sort of change with parking, right? We're in the Midwest. We like to drive our own cars to a big old parking lot that's right next to a stadium and have a short walk in, right? That's not going to be the case. You illustrated it there in that, okay, it's going to be a parking garage or it's going to be an off kind of site satellite, big old lot that you're going to catch a streetcar or a bus or something, some sort of shuttle there. I wonder how that works. I mean, we park, I park in garages for T-Mobile Center that seats, what is it, 18?
18 and a half, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a normal crowd, maybe good for a lot of Royals games.
Wednesday night, that's about 8,000 more.
If it's packed, maybe you double the parking garages, and maybe you don't notice it as much if they're spaced out around. But yeah, that'll be a trial and error thing. But we'll as Midwesterners, we will have to bite that bullet of, and tailgating obviously won't be what it was before as well. I don't think you can.
And I think this
start a fire on a portable
that's
Weber
absurd.
grill inside.
If I can't start a fire and crack open cold ones
inside a parking garage.
Inside a parking garage. What are we doing? I thought this was America.
There's going to be somebody at the World War I memorial up there grilling on the flame at the top. You guys, you want medium? All right, we got medium over here. We got medium rare over there. No, we got the smoker going right now. So I'm just going to walk up there and get it.
Yeah, there should be just a rooftop for all of them. If you want to up top, if you want to go, and tailgate will go up top. There's some green
Smoke
space
signals.
and everything. Yeah.
Serious question: will it still be called the K?
I think. I mean, it might be something field at the K.
You think, we're gonna get eventually a sponsor? Because really, Kaufman's one of the few that don't have it.
Yeah. I'm surprised there's not one there already for a team that's always looking for money and doesn't, as we've talked about, have the huge fan base for every single game. Yes, I think there will be.
But I think
some
also,
sponsorship that comes along with it.
a part of it could be like, I know that there's an extra revenue stream.
Diamond.
Yes, that's right. GHA Diamond at Kauffman Stadium. There's that extra revenue stream that comes in with naming the ballpark. But also the argument would be, aren't you getting extra revenue streams with the district and also now the new amenities and some suites and things like that at Kauffman that you're adding in some different revenue streams that maybe keep it Kauffman? I'm fine if it's like something field. It's I'll call it Arrowhead. I know that Andy wants to call it GH Field, GHA, GEH Field.
Has he dropped 2 of the letters? Is it just now GH?
It was GH.
Okay.
The last one he did was GH.
GH. Yep, GH Field.
He's going hip.
So
You know how
great.
those cool things
I
where you
just
can
laugh
take
at
out the
that 'cause
vowels?
I know all the front office people at the Chiefs hate that.
And nobody's
it
telling
drives them crazy.
Nobody's telling
They
them.
told the media to make sure to say GEHA.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just going to call it Arrowhead, and I'll just call it the K, whatever they call it. I'll call it the new K. I'll continue doing that. We'll take a timeout, come back, continue rolling, hanging out with Mick Schaefer, presented by Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk. I wrap it up this hour.
Okay, the Tonganoxie split is real. I don't want to hear it. There's a
Take that
legacy.
to Gary Lezak.
There's a
he might fight
legacy
you.
game incoming for the Tonganoxie split happening this afternoon,
Okay.
and
Sure.
So wait, if Tonganoxie gets hit, then you'll never talk about the Tonganoxie.
So you're
split
rooting
again?
for Tonganoxie to get hit.
No,
by
to
the
not,
Texas
to
State.
not.
Yeah, not
That's what it
to.
is.
to not.
Oh, I see.
We would be rooting
'Cause it
for
always
to get him
splits.
to
It's-
stop.
it
It's
splits
not
there.
always split.
I see
there.
what you're saying. Yeah.
And they've never gotten rain there. Or
Well, it can rain, but I'm talking the
storms? They never
major.
had storms.
I wonder if
Splits
anybody
there.
in Tonganoxie knows what a heavy thunderstorm is like.
No, they know what those are, but
No,
not
no,
like
but
in
they don't.
history books.
Any
like
hail
a-
or anything ever?
tornadoes.
They drive over to Baser just to see what it's
Yeah.
like.
Oh, man.
What's hail like? Oh, let's go to Piper.
I've always wanted to know what snow is like. We live in San Diego and Tonganoxie.
when does the 6 play the 5 in the NBA and the 4 play the 3 and then the 2 play the 1? Keep this going.
Right around the corner, sir.
Hey, Sixers, baby.
What about them?
10-9-8 76ers.
I don't know what that means.
They beat
Probably something
the
stupid.
Magic, which means that they're playing Boston in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Because they're the play-in
Magic
game.
not made the playoffs for like a century.
They're in the play-in game.
Yeah, that didn't count.
Yeah. Well, the Sixers won because not without Joel Embiid, which shockingly he was out for a game.
Crazy.
I know that's crazy to think about.
That is weird that he missed a game. That's just odd.
Who they play? The Celtics?
Yeah.
7-2 or whatever. 2.
Yeah.
Whatever
So
they
they'll
were.
get waxed. No, the
Probably.
Sixers just.
Tatum's playing good coming back, right?
Yeah. Embiid needs to get his appendectomy figured out. He had an appendectomy, but I don't know how long it takes before you play.
Yeah, I don't know. Hornets Magic tonight. You can hear it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. The
they're
8
still in it.
seed
Magic, or they were 7-8.
Hornets and Magic tonight on Sports Radio 810, and then Sporting taking on Vancouver at 9:30 right here on 810 with the final whistle.
Sporting.
About
Wolf.
11:30 or
Come on.
so. Yeah,
Get back.
Seriously, do something.
Hopefully the Colorado Springs Switchbacks do some great work in the U.S. Open Cup after they hammer-timed Sporting.
What are you going to do? Sometimes.
By the way, speaking of hammer time, that
nobody just shows up and beats the Switchbacks.
Nobody does, because nobody knew they were a team
Yeah.
before.
I
found out
didn't
they
until
exist.
just now.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
they're in the
that's- there you go.
USL Championship League, and
Yeah.
Sporting played them in the U.S. Open Cup,
In the cup.
and they got jettisoned out of the playoffs 3-0.
You said
Playing
hammer
their guys, too.
Hammer time. The MC Hammer commercial is pretty good. Have you guys seen that? Have you seen that new MC Hammer commercial?
No.
At a construction site.
Stop hammer time.
And so stop hammer time, and then he goes break it down, and the people go, "But we just put it up."
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
I think it's pretty good. Like most of us are dumb.
No, it's not bad.
It's pretty solid.
Not bad. I wanted to talk about this. Jeff Goodman tweeted out earlier today after one high major coach telling him that guys that are not playing basketball are asking for $17 million per year. He did tweet this out. He says, one high major coach to the field of 68 on the portal. It's a longer quote, but here we go. I've long accepted that the chaos this time of year is part of the job. We all know there are ways to improve it. Having said that, I do think it has added in a positive way to the offseason interest in college basketball, in a similar way that free agency has helped the NBA. The biggest challenge these last few years has been figuring out what numbers are real or embellished when it comes to NIL offers when speaking with agents, which is why we have just reached out to the other coaches and staffs that we trust when we've heard there are numbers involved so that we can get the real numbers. That last part is fine. You know, I agree there's probably a good portion of the numbers being embellished as to whatever they're getting because whatever they're reporting right now will probably be the real number in 2 years. But what I liked from that is him saying, I think it is added in a positive way to the offseason interest in college basketball. I know this. Without the portal and the NIL, I wouldn't be talking about Mizzou, KU, and K-State the week before the NFL draft while the Royals are playing. We never had these conversations around these teams before the portal and the NIL. Some of the best conversations or interest that comes in professional sports that we talk about with the teams we follow are around the hot stove. The Chiefs, who are they drafting? Who are they going to sign? Those are long-term deals. I get that. Royals, who are they drafting? What's the minor league system look like? The hot stove in the winter. NBA guys changing teams or trades. And college athletics, you know, good or bad, whichever way you look at it, we never had conversations like this around college basketball in the offseason like we are right now when we're talking about Kansas and Kansas State and Missouri. And the free agency that's happening, may not like it, but I do think there is some positive that comes from it, and that is there's more attention paid to college basketball in April. You know, we're 2 weeks out from the national championship, and it would be so far on the back burner of topics.
I mean, I guess if all press is good press, if that's the deal, because I think a lot of the conversation is negative, and there's a lot of eye rolling going there.
But I think from a lot of fans, like they're
Mizzou fans are loving it right now.
Right.
KU fans are not loving it right now. They lost Corbin Allen today too.
Yeah. Although Paul Mbaya apparently was never in the portal, or was talking about in the portal, or maybe his agent said he was in the portal, and then he's saying he wants to return, but his agent wants money. But it's like, we thought he was, so he's back, but he's not. Who knows?
Congrats. The guy that barely played is
yes,
back.
I know.
It's all
Right.
fixed.
I know. It's like, this is a guy that we're wondering, is he in or out of the portal? Like, he rarely plays. How about just make a decision and figure it out?
I want everybody in the world to make as much money as possible. I just hate learning my team's
I get it.
roster.
100%.
Relearning it every single year.
I totally
I think
get that.
before, like, if even, the comparison to the NFL, it's like, okay, yeah, there's going to be, 20% of the roster turned over with guys coming in, free agents, all that stuff. I could take that. You always want to keep the core together.
Yeah.
It's harder and harder in professional sports, but it's not even close to that in college sports.
As a Missouri fan, I'm thrilled this year.
As a Missouri fan in checks notes 2026. I love
the Missouri
portal
fan
right now.
this year.
As a Missouri fan this year, I feel thrilled. I can't wait to be let down somehow. I don't know what disaster is going to strike, but something will. We're not allowed to have nice things, of course. But fifth down, I don't know. Some team's going to get like 21 minutes to come back in a game and somehow win the second half.
Something, yes.
Yeah. So.
Or they'll have to play a game in a city in Missouri in the tournament. That would suck.
Man, when would they ever get that kind of break?
Yeah, that sucks.
Wow, there's someone playing in Booneville and they can't even win. What the heck is happening?
That's ridiculous.
But yeah, no. Again, it all depends on what your team does. When your team lands, again, this is honest. When Missouri has a really good recruiting class on paper. They got some really good recruits in the transfer portal on paper.
Yeah.
This looks to be a really good season. You will be excited. But when your guys leave, if Mark Mitchell would have left before last year, I would say the portal would suck. I would have been pissed.
Yeah.
Like, I can be honest and say it does matter what the outcome is. Or
Absolutely.
at least the hype. Again, I bet KU fans, when they got AJ Storr, again, we know what happened, so we know how it ended up. But when they got Hunter Dickinson and AJ Storr, I didn't hear any, and Rylan Griffin, I didn't hear any KU fans complaining about the portal.
Well, I mean, they got Hunter from Kentucky. Like, obviously
Michigan.
from Michigan. It was Kentucky or Kansas.
Yeah.
So I know he's from Michigan, but it was Kentucky or Kansas that it came down to. And they land Hunter Dickinson. It was like, wow, they just got the best transfer portal. This guy had one of the best NCAA tournament runs at Michigan. And now, the guy can shoot threes. He's a big man inside. He's exactly what KU needs. And while he averaged, 17, 18 points per game, it just didn't really
Feel like Dak Prescott.
yeah.
Empty calories.
Yeah, that does feel like a lot of empty calories with Hunter Dickinson. But yeah, there was excitement on paper. But again, we've seen, and this is from the Missouri standpoint, you've seen teams that have excitement on paper with what it looks like. Kentucky is like, oh, they spent $20-something million. Look at all these players that they brought in. This is a Final Four roster. And they went to the round of 32.
Well, they have Mark Pope.
And yes, and Missouri has what? John Wooden?
I would take Dennis Gates over Mark Pope any given
Well, yeah, the proof is in the
Saturday.
pudding with both of their successes.
Yeah,
What happened when they went head to head?
It was 1-1.
split.
It was 1-1.
I don't think Mark Pope's a good coach. I think Dennis Gates improved this year. I'm not saying Dennis Gates is a great coach, like X's and O's, but I'd take Gates over Mark Pope. Yeah.
When we're recruiting humans to play basketball, I would take Gates over Pope. I don't know on the floor yet.
I mean, Kentucky has had an absurdly expensive roster as a nothing. I watched that. I mean, Kentucky just to me has underperformed dramatically under Pope.
Well, I mean, twice? 2 years?
2 years. In
Yeah.
the last 2 years, he's got 3 tournament wins. Dennis Gates in
it's
4
more
years
Dennis,
has
but
won.
again, you're also at Kentucky. If you have the same amount as Missouri, that's not your peer.
It's 3 times as many.
My point is, with the money spent on that roster, they're spending what, twice as much as Missouri at least?
Probably.
Yeah.
So now
You should be in the conversation of the Michigans, the Arizonas.
But which is the point
this
about
year.
now that Dennis Gates, the pressure is on him.
Correct, 100%. No, and
All on
I'll
Dennis Gates
I'll
now.
have the same response if this year goes sideways. It'll be the same thing. But this is the year we were all looking forward to, even going into this upcoming season. It was, but what about the 2026-27 year? Mm-hmm. That's what even going into last year was the look ahead for a year. That's the conversation, and it's somehow gone even better than expected. We did not think Bryson Tiller was going to be a Missouri Tiger.
Well, no. Yeah, that you could not have predicted that, 3 weeks ago.
But I think, Carey, a player like that
Jalen Carey, yeah.
could have been predicted. Maybe the guy from Providence could have been a player of that caliber.
Right, because Tim Fuller recruited him to Providence, and now Tim Fuller is the GM for Mizzou.
Right.
So,
but
there's that connection.
And so we knew there was going to be some off-season moves, some transfer portal moves. But landing Bryson, to me, is the absolute game changer that takes the freshman class that's coming in to the next level.
Or you land Bryson and he doesn't play well, and it puts even more pressure on Dennis Gates. And then
100%.
Dennis Gates doesn't do anything in the tournament, and now it's okay, cool. He's recruiting, but he can't actually win games.
But I can only judge him on
matter.
what we see right now, and
I know.
and so right now I like what has been done. Yeah. Eli had the same thing on him, by the way. And Eli, again, I know Eli's not gone to the CFP, but Eli would have been if it would have been a year earlier. And he's won what? It had back-to-back. It was. I know, Mick, you're smirking, but
what are you saying?
No,
if they had the 12.
The 12, because the year prior, which again, it wasn't.
But to me,
he had won back-to-back 10-win seasons.
Eli is a little bit different because football in the SEC, to have back-to-back 10-win seasons, I think is pretty legitimate. Whereas in basketball, barely making the tournament a couple of times,
sure,
and losing in the first round,
and having a winless season in conference play,
in conference play. What I'm saying is, it's like, okay, so now he's got the players. Well, if it's only about paying the players, then I don't need to pay Dennis Gates. I can go get somebody else to babysit kids as long as they're the best players. I'd like a coach that can take some players and have them play above their heads to beat similar teams. But he keeps losing to similar teams. He lost to Drake, got out-coached.
Yeah.
Lost to Miami, got out-coached.
Yep.
Lost to Princeton, got out-coached.
Yes.
Has a rough record in March when it really matters. And if we're saying, yeah, but now he's got the players, okay, so if he succeeds with the players, then we're just saying he's one hell of a babysitter for really, really good players, but he's not elevating his team to the next level.
Overblown, especially because some of the conversation has been with high school recruiting, which still does matter. We know what he did with Bryson until recruiting him to Cleveland State. But again, that's not just
But he didn't get him to Cleveland State. He offered him to Cleveland State.
Well, of course he's not. He's going to choose Kansas over Cleveland State.
So then he didn't get him to Cleveland State.
But he got him now.
At Mizzou.
Because that's my point. I don't think my point is he stuck with them the whole time. Yeah. I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe it was the most money, but I think it was also the fit at Missouri.
I think it could be, yeah.
I think the fit and how they said they were going to use him, the Mark Mitchell aspects. So, and the fact that he was able to keep Mark Mitchell all those years as well. Like, I just, again, I think saying babysitter is just such a, in my opinion, an unfair comp for college coaches.
Right, but if it's only about, well, the roster is better, therefore now he can make a run.
But he got those guys there.
I totally agree with that. But then all you're paying is for a recruiter then. Like, you're saying, Mark Pope as opposed to Dennis Gates. Well, yeah, Mark Pope had better players. Yeah, and he's got 3 wins in the tournament in the last 2 years. Dennis Gates has 1 win in the tournament in 4 years. Well, he doesn't have as good of players. Well, he's had good enough players. He didn't have... Who had better players, Princeton or Mizzou?
Oh, Missouri.
Who had better players, Mizzou or Drake, outside of Stetson Bennett?
Missouri.
Or Bennett Sturts, I mean. Good God, why would Stetson Bennett be playing from quarterback at Georgia to Drake?
Okay, that's
Stetson Bennett the 4th. Or it was the real Stetson Bennett. I don't know why. Stetson Bennett and Bennett Sturts.
Miami or Missouri this year, I'd probably say Miami.
I think it's close. But he also went 0-3. In those games when he's
1-3 Utah State, 1-3.
But I'm talking about the losses though.
I know.
Okay, so they throw in Utah's better roster.
They would have had a better roster.
Better roster than Princeton.
State.
So he goes 1-3 in those games, or 1-2 in the games where he's got a better roster.
Sure.
0-1 and losing in St. Louis to a team that you could say
probably equal-ish
roster. So then if he gets up to a peer roster in the tournament, don't expect him to win at that point.
No, I think we saw, my opinion, we saw growth from him as a coach.
I do agree with that.
I think we saw, again, I'm not saying it was incredible.
I think his plays out of timeouts were much better this year.
It was an insane difference. If you watched all Missouri, I mean.
A lot of easy buckets out of timeouts.
Night and day.
Yep.
Night and day different. Because it used to be about the worst you've ever seen in your life, and now it's like, oh, that's what it's supposed to be. That's solid.
I would like to see him scrap that zone, though.
The zone I never want to see again.
Or choose a different one.
That drives me insane. I feel like I'm having an aneurysm every time I see the zone. I smell toast. Every time.
Looks like they're having an aneurysm when they're trying to play it.
The amount of bourbons that I have to consume just to feel like I can watch that is asinine. It's his fault. It's his fault.
I've been a Bryson Tiller fan all season long. I know he's soft and maybe was playing out of position and didn't have some great games and could have been more physical and everything. I'm just glad to meet another Bryson Tiller fan like you, Sterling. You've been a Tiller fan the whole
never
time
once
like me. Didn't waver.
Never said he was.
Michael, did Sterling ever waver in his thoughts around Bryson Tiller?
No.
He's wavered a lot.
No. No.
I don't know.
I
can't
once-
remember.
To be fair, he's had a great last 10 days, though.
Yeah, his last
Leading
10
up to
days.
this, yeah.
Think of the now, guys. Think of the
Point.
now.
He entered. He announced on the 6th.
He's had a
was entering
really
the
good
portal.
week and a half.
The 7th, he went in the portal.
I saw growth.
Now it's the 17th, but he committed on the 16th. So 10 days after announcing the portal, he commits. So you're right about that.
Bryson, more like bye, son, because you're gone, dude. I mean, you were going to be a starter on Kansas and be a guy, and that's not good enough. At some point, where college basketball is at, I mean, I'm a Mizzou alum. I can admit that Kansas is about the pinnacle of college basketball.
How big of you to admit that Kansas is a blue blood?
Sorry, stones of me. I know. But the point remains,
I can admit
if
that
you
the sun
are a
comes out every
starter
day.
and you are going to be a main cog on that team, and that's not good enough, where are we at as a society? I mean, where are we at seriously as college basketball?
good.
But like, it makes no sense to me. This is asinine. This is absurd. Kansas, the University of Kansas basketball can't keep Flory or Bryson. I know it's not Zuby, where Zuby was a backup. They brought someone else in to play over him. These guys were going to be starters, and quite frankly, I think Bryson, they wanted him to be a starter last year. But Bryson was too passive. We talked about it. Dude wasn't aggressive enough. He's more aggressive in the offseason than in season. That's what it comes down to. The last 5 games, 22 points. He's starting. He's playing a lot of minutes. It's not like he's a bench guy. He averaged less than 4.5 points a game, 4 of the games, 0%, 20%, 28.6%, 0%. You know, that screams big-time money. That screams, hey, let me test the market. Dude, you are a career 26.9% three-point shooter, and you apparently want the ball more to shoot more threes? Yeah, I just thought the last 10 days, though, he's looked really good.
He's now wearing black and gold.
Yeah, of
to
course.
be fair.
To be fair. The first 75% of that, though, I do stand by as far as seeing a star leave Kansas is still weird, even though he was going to be like a guy, because you feel like that is the pinnacle. I mean, Kentucky, Michigan, UConn. I mean, at this point, what we're seeing is that Kansas, that is a blue blood. You were going to be not a bench guy, not a guy who's being brought in to play over you. You were going to be one of the major options for that team. And seeing him leave, I think, again, as a society, where are we at?
Well, I don't think blue bloods matter to hardly anybody. These kids are born in 2008, right? At this point, something like that. And
oh my gosh, you weren't kidding. Holy.
No.
They're born 2008.
Bill
and
Self only has one
They've
national
been watching
championship
the
at that time.
Warriors and the Spurs and the Celtics their whole lives. They don't
Some of the
care
Celtics are the only team that
know who the blue bloods are, especially when the greenbacks are being thrown, the green money's being thrown, and so to those guys, there's no difference between Missouri and Kansas.
By the way, I will say, Jason and I think you're on the same page as me. Even during the entire rant, I did go out and say, I think Bryson, I would covet more than Badunga.
Yeah.
Because I think there's way more upside for Bryson in college. Yes. Bryson to me.
I actually agree.
I think Bryson to me is going to be an NBA style player.
Well, yeah, by the time he gets in the NBA. But in the next couple of years, give me Flory every day of the week.
See, 'cause to me, Flory is such a
Defensive
specialized player.
Stopper.
Amazing.
Yeah.
He is phenomenal defensively, but he's an offensive
And so
Or
this
more than
slog.
Bryson.
Yeah, but you still see with Bryson what he can do. He can play
Bryson's
inside, he
much
can play
more
outside.
skilled.
Yeah, he's much
offensively
more skilled.
than Flory. What I find to be, in agreement with that coach when he said, at least there's a positive. Obviously, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed, and that's what he started and prefaced it with: is all these things that out of control, whatever. But the positive is there's way more interest in college basketball now, like there is in free agency and some of the other sports, which then, I can get in the conversation like we had with Alohi Gilman and Brian Cook, when nationally somebody looks at Alohi Gilman and Brian Cook and they go, well, the Chiefs got worse, so we're going to downgrade the Chiefs at safety because they got worse from Brian Cook to Alohi Gilman. When locally we're saying, Yeah, but you even hear Brett Veach yesterday say, Alohi Gilman, well, when you got, the Tyrons and Justin Reeds, looking for that type of player. He didn't mention the Tyrons, Justin Reeds, and Brian Cooks. Like, they were looking for somebody that fit the mold of Tyron and Justin Reed, that were the guys in the back end that put everybody in the right spot that they were supposed to go, that particular style of safety, where the Chiefs view themselves as getting better from Brian Cook to Alohi Gilman because the style of safety they were wanting and needing nationally, it's no, they got worse because Brian Cook is a better player. With Kansas and, let's say, Missouri and even Louisville, because we're talking about Flory Badunga. Kansas fans were annoyed and ready to move on from Flory, one, because he entered the portal last year and then doing it again this year. But offensively, it's like, man, can you offer anything more than just being a rim runner and an amazing defender? But you kind of get used to what you have. Louisville's front court was so god-awful, and they were just a bunch of stiffs. They couldn't run the floor. They didn't play defense. So to Louisville, Flory is like the gold standard. Like, oh my God, you got Flory here? Imagine what he's going to be like after watching those turds all year. That's awful. Bryson Tiller for Kansas. He doesn't play down inside enough. Bill Self wants him to go to the block. He's shooting too many threes. He's fading out to the three-point line. He's not physical enough. These are the ways that Bill Self wants him to play. Missouri, hey, Bryson, we're going to let you shoot. We want you to be a stretch four. We don't need you to be a dominant rebounding guy. We got Jalen Carey. We got some other guys in here that we're going to work on. What your game will be is we'll focus on more offensive stuff with you with this style. So it's not necessarily like, okay, well, Kansas got worse without Bryson Tiller. Well, Kansas using Bryson Tiller a certain way as opposed to Missouri using Bryson Tiller a certain way might be the same player used differently that gets different results, where Keanu Dawes, for what Kansas wants, may fit better as one of the best rebounding, players in America. The second best rebounder in the Big 12 last year that's now heading to Kansas for what Bill Self wants. And that's where we get into style of play of which teams are looking for certain types of players. Louisville overpaid for Flory because they had to have somebody with athleticism because the front court has been so bad for 2 years with Pat Kelsey, willing to pay whatever it takes to get a rim runner and an athletic big. Missouri has had issues with their front court being offensive players and being just good players in general. So they're going to be paying for Bryson Tiller. Kansas wanted more toughness, more guys that were physical, and Tiller didn't answer the bell. So I think some of it's money and some of it's also fit that comes along with it, which is why I like from that element, we're talking way more college basketball, and we're sort of talking about it more like we talk about the pro sports in the offseason, whether that's good or bad.
Bad.
It's not great that it's every single season we're talking about that with the entire roster. But we are talking
The
about
unlimited free agency part is the bad part.
But we are talking about it. We are breaking down, Kansas and, what Kansas State's going to be with, I think, 18 shooters on the floor at once.
Listen, if Patrick Mahomes could be bought and sold every single year, then we would still be talking about that, wouldn't we? And it would suck.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I agree. I think Missouri should have been able to sign Mark Mitchell to an 8-year deal.
Hey,
it's ridiculous.
It's not that far off in college sports these days.
Dadgum ridiculous.
By the way, how about KU getting a guy from Utah, but not the guy yet, at least.
Right,
Okay.
Like, we're like, the 20 points per game, and then it's, Utah transfer commits to Kansas. Oh, really? Keanu Dawes. Oh.
And so, on a normal KU team, Dawes is what, like the 4th or 5th best player?
On this team right now,
right now
he's number one.
He's number one. Where's your top 3?
Well, Utah was really good last year.
Yeah, they were great. It's like the only team K-State beat, I think. Didn't they? I think they landed above Utah, right? Or was it tied?
They're
It was
right
close,
there.
yeah.
They're both 2 scoops of ass.
There you go.
Yeah,
He's
of
in a
course,
pod.
we got the 2 scoops of ass, so that's good. It's probably Taylon Kinney's number one because freshman. So TK's number one, then Dawes,
Cole Rosario,
I guess though.
Atkins or Perry. I don't know, because now we're talking about guys that are in
who?
Davian Atkins, who's in the 70s or something like that, and then
that's one of the recruits.
Trent Perry from Link down in Branson. Is a top 100 player. But again, you're kind of talking about with Mizzou, Aiden Chronister is 73 coming off the bench, and that's Adkins and Perry.
This team
in
right
the
now, KU
70s.
does not make the NCAA tournament right now.
Guys, imagine
There are a lot
having
of undecided, though.
imagine having like a guy ranked 70th being a starter or a star on your team. Couldn't be Missouri. That's just a guy coming off the bench.
That'd be
So
awesome.
much talent.
It'd be awesome to be like the 70th best in the nation at
Yeah.
something. It's pretty good.
Pretty badass. Yeah,
Be great.
That's awesome. It's like
Think-
when
you know what you should probably think about? You're probably 70th best at something. You just don't know what it is.
In the country?
Yeah, I bet you are.
I don't think so.
No, but I bet
There's 350 million
Yeah, but I
people.
bet almost everyone is like top 100 at something.
No,
Maybe
I don't
top
think so.
100,000.
You don't know
don't
what
think
you don't know
so.
what it is.
Maybe
though.
top million.
Yeah, it could be something silly. It could
A
be,
lot of people out
but
there.
it could be something dumb like
Like what?
Like mowing your lawn.
nope,
or
you
like
are not in the top 100 of mowing your lawn.
No,
I
I'm not saying
promise
I
you that.
am. But Mick might
None
be.
of us are in the top 100 of
Mick
mowing
could be
our
like,
lawns.
I feel like I'm close to top 100 drinking beers.
Nope, you are not.
God.
Not even close.
even close.
No,
Not even
enjoying them though.
America?
Just like
Nope.
not like the amount because there's gonna be some tanks out there. But just as far as like top 100 is like, yeah, that's a good beer. I could do that. I like it.
I doubt that you. I'm in the top 100 of enjoying beer.
Yeah,
What's that?
Freaking.
it could be.
By the way, this was DM'd to me last night, and I wanted to bring it. I know we got to go to break, but this is great because when we talk about, we're not far away from this. This was a parody account, but it tweets out. You guys may have seen this. I don't know. It was 2 days ago, but it was sent to me last night. UConn freshman star Braylon Mullins is putting his name in the transfer portal, and he will host an online auction to obtain the highest NIL bid from all D1 schools.
And that's fake?
Yeah, bidding begins at noon Eastern. Opening bid starts at $3 million. Live auction for Braylon Mullins. I'm like,
Is he in the portal?
no, it's a total fake thing. It's
Honestly,
like
that would be
it's like,
really
how
funny,
far,
though.
That would be amazing. Right?
I'd do that.
That would be awesome.
When is the last time? I mean, like you make announcements like Bryson Tiller did if you're in high school or if you're LeBron, right? Had some big portal guys do that? I don't remember.
I mean,
a college guy.
Bryson committed on the field of 68,
Yeah.
but I only saw that after the fact and then went and cut the sound. I wasn't watching it like, oh my God, live because
Well,
I
I was
didn't
gonna say,
know.
but like usually these guys in college are like, all right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
put out a tweet or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
break
yeah, that's true. We're not seeing as we're seeing more elaborate asking people to prom than we are the commitments now.
We are, yeah.
So we're seeing more of those. So, Michael, what was the most elaborate prom ask that you had?
I did not ask anybody to prom, actually.
Oh, you got
No,
asked. What was the most elaborate prom
No, I did
that
not
you got
go.
asked?
I did not go.
Yeah,
Oh,
but you
too cool
chose
for
not
prom?
to, though.
I asked someone. I let on top of a car shirtless.
Oh,
Does that surprise you?
You didn't have a shirt on. So what's the difference of any other time you asked?
That was
somebody to prom?
my best Burt Kreischer. Maybe Burt Kreischer saw me, and that's why he got his whole bit.
Yeah, no,
You did
I
that
don't.
in high school?
Yeah.
Or to a high school person recently?
I don't think. I don't think it's going to be successful. You showing your bits. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Mick Schaefer, KSHB 41 Sports Director, presented by Advent Health Sports Park at Blue Hawk, hanging out with us today. You got a big volleyball tournament go to?
Big weekend.
Big weekend. So is today pool play?
Yeah, and tomorrow's pool play. You,
Oh, wow.
you advance to another hopefully higher pool, and then Sunday it's the show me. No big deal. It's show me. And then Northwest Missouri State spring game tomorrow. So I'll miss a lot. Some of the games
Big
tomorrow.
weekend
Big
for
weekend
you.
in sports. Yeah.
Yeah, I so you're going to have to explain this to me. So there's pool play today. If you finish at a certain level, then you go to another pool for pool play tomorrow. Then you separate the two tournaments?
Basically, you'll finish if you hopefully they finish first, and they'll go to a pool with a bunch of other first and second place winners.
fun.
And then the top two there
You go to a
usually
pool?
will make to the gold bracket.
Yeah.
But they have silver and bronze and like zinc and
What,
all the medals.
What pools
uh,
are open this early in the season? It seems
so
a little
many,
early.
Yeah.
What bracket are you expecting to be in?
Gold.
Okay.
There's 64 teams in the tournament. They take the top 16 to gold.
Well, they're expanding it to 76 next year, right?
No, God, I
Oh.
hope not. Jeez, yeah, it just really would water it down.
How many go to gold out of 64?
16 in this
Top
tournament.
16, and you guys are what, like
Yeah.
second or third?
We're the 13 seed, which is a little low, but I like it.
think you guys got screwed
they've
on
been
that.
seated higher, and they see that, and they
yes,
take on the
see?
pressure. I'm like, no, look, you're 13th seed. You guys suck.
Yeah,
So
seriously.
no pressure.
Yeah, 13th.
I've been told that negative reinforcement is really the key.
That's
it
what it is
does
with
help
young
some.
kids.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the best.
I think some.
You need some. You can't just be like, oh, God, you're so great.
No, it's
You
more
were
like
so great.
Yeah,
Yes.
like, hey, that you were good and all, but like
yeah,
these
no.
things you're really bad at.
Any kid, any age, can deal with a foot in their ass.
You think the Royals have too much positive reinforcement going on right now in their clubhouse?
If there's any, it's too much.
Yeah. It's all good, guys. Hey, just one day at a time. It doesn't even matter. You know what? Yesterday's one-run loss doesn't matter today because today is an okay. Yesterday's one-run loss does not matter to. Okay. You know what? Yesterday's one-run loss does not matter today because today's an individual day, and just because we keep losing one-run games, it's not a big deal, guys. You keep doing what you're doing, and we're gonna be fine, everybody. Okay, come on in here. We're gonna sing a little song. Strum on the
We're gonna
guitar a
say-
little
we have
bit.
clementines.
Kind of hard to believe things are going to get better.
If I had to guess, I would guess they lose by a run tonight.
That would be my guess, although that might be an accomplishment at Yankee Stadium.
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? But
yeah.
they'll lose by a run, just a lot of runs scored. It'd be like
I don't
yesterday.
think they're going to win again. I'm convinced of
in
that
the
now.
history of the sport
You
moving
think
forward.
7 and 155.
I will be reasonable and say just not the rest of this year.
Okay, that
so
makes
7
sense.
and
Yeah.
7 and
So
155.
regroup at the
Yes.
end of the year.
How'd they ever win 7?
Yeah, they will finish with one more win than the Chiefs this year.
Yes. Hey, we got you. We got you.
They're both 5 games under 500 with their records 6-11 and 7-12.
What
It's too
a what a disaster dumpster fire it already is, and it's not early anymore. About 20 games.
it's getting
in.
it's
19
getting late
games
early.
in.
Yeah.
It's 19 games in, and
1/8 of the season.
they just
You have
continue to
thrown away.
find ways to just snatch defeat right from the jaws of victory.
And it's the stars. I mean, like last night was Lucas Erceg. Like that's your best reliever, and he blows the game. It's been Salvi. It's been Vinny. Nice to see them both hit a home run yesterday. Obviously, Salvi's was big. Salvi's had a couple of nice rips.
That was such a great at bat and such a huge moment. And when it happened, I'm like, okay, this is kind of breakout. So because that
Yes.
whole inning, everybody ended all their streaks, and then Vinny hits a bomb. 2 innings later, and like, okay, get a win here.
Insurance
you can
run.
breathe,
Yeah.
and then you're a strike away, and Riley Green happens.
It was just a very frustrating. Again, just the season in general has been the stars. You've seen Jack be solid. He's been a good right fielder and hit a lot of
great right
singles and doubles. You've seen Carter Jensen be your power threat. You saw Kyle Isbell. He's been really good this year. You see India getting on base. I think actually at this point now, Lane Thomas has for the most part gotten on base. And then you see Bobby, who's not slugging with any authority. You see.
The biggest deal with him is the slug.
He's
two
been-
doubles yesterday.
He's been really good besides the slug, Vinny Salve. It's been the stars. Cole Reagans has probably been the worst starter also of the starters.
He was great.
He was great now,
Years ago.
but
Yeah. And these 4 games in a row, they have been tied or leading after 7 innings in all 4.
Yeah.
That's a bullpen issue too.
Yeah, you're or only scoring 1 run issue.
Well, not true.
'Cause
True.
Two of them they only gave up 2 runs.
But
and
but
lost.
Schreiber's not been good.
Yeah.
But
it is also the bullpen giving those up.
Yeah, no, agreed.
So,
I'm not.
yeah,
I'm
right.
not. I'm not. You
But
score
it, is
more.
but it is a bullpen issue. It's the guys coming in and giving up a run.
You would hope that they could at
The
least
bullpen's
close out
bad. The
one.
lineup's bad. We'll just sum it up here.
Yes, and they've been thrown out on the base paths more times than they have hit home runs this year.
What?
Yeah.
I think that may have
Yeah.
been a stat going into yesterday's
100%.
game.
That feels impossible.
No, I mean the times they've been picked off, as
Yeah.
well as the times they've been caught
And the
stealing.
times that they don't hit home runs.
Yeah. Bobby, does he have one yet?
Nope. Wait, no. You caught stealing or home run?
Home run.
No.
Vinny got his first.
Yeah. Salvi has 3,
3.
I believe. I'm just all
4,
but
4 for Carter.
top of my dome.
Yeah, so it is. It was before yesterday's game.
Because Collins has 1, India has
They had
2, 1.
14 times they've been thrown out on the bases, and entering yesterday's game, they had 13 home runs.
They get thrown out yesterday.
No,
So home runs took
so
over.
15 to 14. 15 to
Only
14
took
home
him
runs.
20, 30 games, 19 games.
Oddly enough, they get thrown out on the bases on one of the home runs. That was what's the craziest thing is
Yeah.
they found a way to not score on a home run.
I wouldn't be
Totally-
surprised.
Totally.
And somehow it's also
weird.
Zumwalt's fault.
Well, I mean, probably. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, Q and the no doubles defense that they didn't play yesterday, or Vance Wilson, whoever's in charge of the defense. Like Hosmer mentioned it before the Riley Green at bat and said, there's a choice you make here with 2 outs and a guy at first that, a double down the line, that guy's going to score from first and it's a tie game. So you got to make a choice. Do you play no doubles and guard the line and make them hit multiple hits or multiple singles to beat you, or you just play it straight up and make sure if he has what would have been a regular hit that you get an out there.
Couldn't quite. Was he for sure not playing the line? I don't know.
Yeah, he was playing off the line pretty decently. I mean, that thing. He was playing almost to the grass. That if he was playing on the line, that's just an easy ground ball scoop and toss to Urseg, and the game is over. But he had to take 3 or 4 steps and dive and still not get there, and the ball was obviously on the fair side of first base. So that was frustrating in that moment. But also don't leave a changeup middle to Riley Green, and then don't leave a changeup on the second pitch to the next hitter middle for the winning run. Don't walk somebody when you're up 2. You're up 2 runs. Don't walk somebody.
He's getting no swing and miss.
Yeah.
He's walking more guys. And this was starting to be a trend last year as well of
Heck, even
fewer strikeouts, more walks, and this trend has continued for Lucas. It's not he has the stuff. We know he has this. I don't want to say this because he's definitely better than this guy still, but it feels almost Carlos Hernandez of where you're like, dude, you're throwing 98, 99. You got some pitches here, but why is nobody swinging and missing at it?
Yeah. Yep. Even one of the 2 outs that he recorded was a line drive right at India.
Yeah.
Right.
It was still smoked, up the middle. So
No, this. It seems like the stars have to align for them to get a win. And I was like, finally, it was going to take 5 hours yesterday and 2 weather delays and a couple bubble guts breaks there by the umpire. And still, and an out of nowhere 6-run inning.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, finally the stars align.
They did it.
But one tiny little mistake and opened the door for the other, the Tigers to win again.
we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We got cuts on the other side of the break, wrapping up the show here on a Friday. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, wrapping things up on a Friday edition of the show. Royals in action tonight in New York against the Yankees. NBA play-in game, Orlando and Charlotte tonight right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, and then Sporting KC taking on Vancouver coming up at 9:30 right here on Sports Radio 810. Let's get the cuts before the week is over. Michael, take it away.
It's going to knock your socks off. Soren, I want my socks knocked off. I don't want to be hanging socks on anymore.
Your socks are off, and I'm impressed.
I'm done with socks.
So what are we looking? So how close are we?
I mean, we're close, buddy. Like probably 3 weeks out. May 11th's the due date.
So do you get in there? You gonna cut the cord and everything?
Yeah, I do it every time. What do you mean?
That's right. That's right.
I cut my own grass too.
That's vastly different.
It's like, what a random thing.
Vastly different.
Yeah, cut my grass.
You know, every year I try and get rim. I think this might be my final year. Was last year. I don't think I can get rim anymore. I don't think I can.
Usually when you get older, that stops.
Get up.
Less and less of that as you age. That's typically what happens.
It's a broken ankle.
You're learning.
Hey,
You're
first time
learning
doing yoga since the broken ankle.
Oh, good
Proud of
for you.
myself. I'm getting
How about
back,
that?
boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just
Getting
keep
back.
jacking it, dude. Well, that could be a lot of things. Probably out of context. Maybe not.
I don't know.
Get hard.
Yeah, see.
Now I'm starting to think it wasn't out of context.
Yeah, I don't. There was a story that was out that I can't remember who it was by, but it was a player that was at a mid-major and was talking to his family about wanting to stay, but the agent was talking to other teams. And the question was, if you go somewhere else, does the agent get a percentage? And he said yes. And he said, if you re-sign with this team, does the agent get a percentage?
That was me.
You said that?
Yeah, this was the guy with one of my friends that worked.
That's right. Yeah, I thought I read it, but it's what you said.
Yeah, I read it somewhere.
There's a story. I can't remember what it was. Let me tell you the story, Sterling.
Yeah,
yeah, that was me.
That was me.
Pink stinks, okay? I got no interest in pink meat.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, I remember what they were talking about now.
Yo!
They get it like well done, like their steaks and stuff.
Who does?
Surrendering them, which is fine.
I want to apologize to Bill Self.
Oh, God.
I texted him. I said, "Hey man, congratulations on your retirement." I said, "Man,
no, you didn't."
I did.
No,
and he's like, "I'm not quite done yet, Granny."
No, you didn't.
I did.
When did you do that?
I was in Florida, and I'm like, "Hey man," because he's got a place down close to me. I said, "Hey, with the retirement, let's go play some golf. Let's get together."
This
He
guy's
goes,
trying to get
he
it.
goes, "Hey man, how has your experience been with retirement?" But I'm not quite ready to retire yet. I'm still kind of kicking. I still got some juice in me. I'm like,
running the coach out.
I know.
Next time we get Bill Self on the show, I'm going
You gotta ask him.
about that. Hey, you have any Chiefs Hall of Famers congratulating you on your retirement? at all?
Maybe he was on the fence. He was like, "Screw this guy. I'm not done yet."
Trying to push me out.
Right. Maybe you're the one that convinced him to come back. Maybe
Yeah,
he was on the fence.
Hey, you fans, you can either thank me or hate me for that, but yeah, I saw it on somewhere, a news report.
It was an AI account.
Yeah.
It was on Twitter.
It was on Twitter, and then I was like, oh,
Some
man.
jack off.
I was like, Bill. I'm like, yeah, I love the guy. Every time I see him, he's such a genuine person.
He's the best.
He is such a
He really
nice
is the
guy.
best.
Why
And
you
of
trying to run him off then? I don't.
I felt so bad about that, and of course we texted back and forth with some other things after that. So he wasn't, really taken aback.
No.
Well, congrats on the retirement, Bill.
Well,
nice job, Granny.
Not retired.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw it right back on you, but it was backdoor stuff.
What? Just doing. What'd you do at home? Some backdoor stuff.
What? Blast the guy.
Okay.
Well,
Any kid at any age can deal with a foot in their ass.
That's true.
that was Mick
That's a quick
today.
turnaround.
That was a quick turnaround.
Peter Schrager. He's been described by Jake as a guy that's in the know.
Great eyeliner.
Random.
Is he Derek Carr?
I don't know.
Johnson rod on that, or
There you go. Yeah, that's right. What?
You
that-
use your Johnson? Is that what you just asked him?
That is
No,
not
his
what I
rod.
said.
Johnson rod. That's a tool, man.
I'm not calling for wholesale changes. I'm just talking about when you start to say internally, okay, we got to think about changing some things.
And
I do love wholesale change Petro though. It's one of my favorite versions. Have you ever seen the Venom movies?
Yes, I have.
The Venom comics. Yeah. Wholesale change Petro is Venom. It's lurking inside of you every day.
Yeah.
And it's saying to you, "Let me out, Seren. We're going to have a good show today. I'm going to suggest some wholesale changes, and the people listening are going to enjoy it, get angry, and call in, and they'll have wholesale changes too." And the Petro, the logical Petro, is sitting there saying, "No, it's not time for you to come out yet. Wait until June 1st. Then you can go and have your field."
Sterling's looking at me like I'm very mid. Show off my Riz.
Oh man,
what a day, what a week!
I like to imagine the wholesale change Seren like Venom. It's just there, ready to just get out there.
Lurking.
Wholesale changes, always lurking, ready to go. All right, that'll do it for a Friday edition of the show. Hope everybody enjoys the weekend. Be safe out there with the storms
Come
that are
on,
on their way.
Tonganoxie. That's the microplastics. I want the real wood. I want a splinter in my tongue. Whoa!
You wanted the real wood?
What about
Splinter tongue? I don't know what it is. I'm not sure. So yes, everybody be safe, and hopefully it's not as bad as some of the reports. We'll see. We will talk to you guys on Monday.